I'm Gib.
Muting.
Alright, yeah, I'm Gib, play all the Hoyoverse games. I think some people know me from Jinyan main and Genshin, even though I don't play Genshin as much, but like still play it like up to date. ZENLESS, I like Soldier 11, big Soldier 11 chill. And in HSR, I guess Fei Zhao and Acheron.
All right, so we got a Soldier 11 main here, as well as Acheron, my queen.
Real
Good taste. Good taste.
The only Soldier 11 main in the world.
There's only 11 of us. Gotta stick together.
Nice, nice. All right, who's up next? Kana, I guess?
Hello. I'm Kana. I do primarily ZZZ content. I do stream it a little bit. I primarily focus on making guides, do a little bit of theory, feels crafting, and everything in between. I do a lot more recently. I know I haven't, it's been a long time since we've done one of this, but I've done like a ridiculous amount of like account review stuff recently, and that's gonna be a lot of where my basis for the tier list is gonna come from. But I think the hot tier list is gonna look scalding.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think it's gonna burn the house on fire a little bit. But I'm excited. This is a really cool format.
Yeah,
Alright.
great. I am Rivenous. I do some guide stuff for ZZZ over on YouTube and basically never stream on Twitch. But yeah, that's it.
That's it? You're not a...
I suck at self-introductions or whatever, so...
Okay,
let's
well,
skip that part.
I am Rivenous, is a big Burnice fan, from what I can tell.
Holy.
Don't forget
For
Lucy.
sure, man.
Sure, don't forget Lucy.
Bernice and Lucy, yes.
Thoughts on Lucy looking like a Goomba from Super Mario?
Yeah.
No. She has a German pickle hopper, that's all.
Ah, the hat, yes, that's right. You know, you're the only person
Here.
I've heard that has expressed appreciation for her hat.
Wait. Let me... You know, as a German, I do have to do that. Here, I sent you a Google Drive link.
Oh,
So
okay.
everybody,
That is
gets
a
to
long
know
link.
this super important stuff.
All right. I'm gonna have to make sure this link you sent me is kosher. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it is. All
There
right.
you go. That's just from
Okay.
this 1900.
Yeah, it's a pickle hobby hat. I'm sure I'm saying it correctly.
100%.
Great. But yes, where's Lucy? Where is she? Yeah, there we go. She does
I
have
see.
hats.
That is definitely on the dot.
Wow, you learned something new. Well, actually, Rivenous already told me this, but I guess for the rest of you guys who don't know much about the pickle hobby hat, well, here it is. Yeah.
Yep. The more you know.
Or you know. All right. Okay, so let's see. Where are we? Here we are. Okay, so how do we want to kick this off? Hang on. Let me there's something I want to do. Oh yeah, hang on. I got to pull up another window, make sure it's easy to make the polls cuz we're going to have the community vote on every character too. Oh man. We're going to try to make this quick because
Every time we say quick, take a shot for every time we say quick and it becomes a 3-hour stream.
No.
Easy.
No. Oh man, I told my wife it'd only be like 2 hours, but I guess we'll see if I face her wrath later. So we'll see. Okay, we're gonna end this poll, and let's start off with we can start with Nicole. We'll just go in order of
One more important thing.
Yes.
For the A ranks, do we go by M6 or by M0?
I think we should do C6.
M6.
I think so as well, but
Okay. Yep,
just asking
M6
so we're
Nicole
all on the
placement.
same page.
Alright, for C6, tier 0
yeah.
easily.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing I'm a little concerned about, has every A rank had a rerun yet? Or sorry, like had a banner for themselves yet?
Yeah.
With Lucy being on this banner, yes.
Okay, all right.
Lucy was the last one. The holdout.
Okay. All right. Because that was my only fear. Because originally when we had that, it was like some people like couldn't get Piper. You couldn't get Lucy to M6 without like some, kind of getting lucky somehow.
Or
Yeah,
whatever.
makes sense.
Yeah. Or
Just sell your house.
forbidden fruit, of course.
it's all worth it for the waifus.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. So, I guess for me, I'll start off with my opinion. I think she should be. Personally, she feels like a tier 0.5 to me. But, you know, like, what do you guys think?
I think
This
she
is our
can
hot
be
takes,
played.
right?
Yeah,
Oh
it can be
yeah.
hot
Okay.
take.
I think she's tier 0 because she can also be in anomaly teams. Like before, we got like anomaly. She was just UUN, and we didn't know what the future would be. But you can also play her on anomaly teams and like rotate into her, get the defense shred, and then have whatever anomaly you're about to proc benefit from that defense shred, which goes pretty hard. And she's
Yeah,
like
the
super
defense
low
shred is
investment to
universal,
build
yeah.
as a character as well. Like you just really need her core. That's it. You don't need her skills or anything.
Yep, that's true.
So-
That's very true.
I think I would actually agree because I mean,
Oh.
we compare her to other supports, right?
Mhm.
So
Like,
I
which
personally
other
compare.
supports do we have? We have Lucy, we have Sukaku, we have Rina.
So here's my opinion, and this is a bit of a hot take, but we have Lucy, right? We have. Oh man, this tier list is what a mess.
Filling up fast.
We have Rina, right? But I personally also include the stunners in this slot because you often have to choose between a stunner or a support character because you literally only have 3 characters on the team, right?
Well, I think
So-
you only choose depending on who your DPS is.
For sure, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. It is based on the DPS that you use.
Because like Caesar's also technically in the support tab as well now.
She is, yeah. I
Okay,
put her
what-
there personally.
While we are at it, I'm gonna give my hot take, and I do not think that Rina is T0.
Rina. Wait, are we talking about
Yes.
Rina? Oh, hang on. No.
I think he was just putting it on.
Yeah, I
screen.
think he
don't
was just moving on
actually-
screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it compares the same.
Yeah, I know. That's a real hot take.
Yeah.
Holy god.
So,
Tier 0.
no, I will actually give you my opinion for that. Because for me, there's always a difference between theoretical, like how much is the unit able to actually do, versus how much is the average player actually gonna use it. Like how much of the potential can they use? And I think most of the player base is not able to get the most out of Rina's potential.
Yeah, I think Arena,
At M0.
she just sees way more value when you have more vertical investment in her. Like later down the line, once there's more electro and shock stuff, she'll probably get better. But like right now,
Yeah,
there's not
only
many
that,
people
but
that use her.
99% of all players will not swap her in every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, she loses a lot of her value because her only value is the pen ratio she provides. So if you don't do that and you have her at M0, which means you don't even have full uptime during the entire stun window, I personally do not think she is on the same level like Lucy, who basically has an infinite uptime.
That's
So
valid.
that is how I
Literally
feel
doing
about.
anything.
That is how I feel about Nicole too, right? She does have uptime issues, and her buffs, while good, they're not completely universal, right? The defense shred is, but the crit rate and ether damage absolutely aren't. So, you
True.
know, if you actually look at the amount of damage she amplifies a team in comparison to, let's say, Caesar, right? I know, like, Caesar stuns too, but just like Caesar as an example. Caesar will pretty much increase any team that she's on's damage by 40-ish%, whereas Nicole's defense shred on a team she's not really meant to will increase it by, like, what? 15 to 20% tops. And she has duration issues. So for me, that's why I think she's in tier 0.5, is because of those factors, right? Like when you compare it to similar tier 0 characters, so we know Caesar's going to be in tier 0, right? So I'm just taking Caesar as an example. The duration as well as the buff amount is just a lot lower for everything but ether teams, right?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, we are talking about M6, so I mean, your chat
Yeah,
literally
M6
says
too.
it as well. She does give crit rate.
Do you add any value for the character being a 4-star, or do you still equal them as a 5-star?
An M6 4-star is equal to an M0 5-star, roughly.
Okay.
Kind of like the way that we're assessing this.
I think it's like I don't think it's been mentioned yet. I think it's probably what I would what takes for me a character like Nicole from 0.5 to 0 is also just how much easier the game gets when you play with her. Like that, like it's even the case, I think, to be like this, again, this might be like my mega hot take, but a character like Caesar, if she doesn't have her barrier and her anti-interrupt, I actually think she's maybe like she's definitely one of the better supports, if not the best support. I don't think she is like so much further apart from everyone else though, just because she has a 1000 attack increase. I mean, like, let's be clear, like feel of a character and how you actually use a character is very important to their placement too. And for like Nicole, for instance, right, you don't just take Nicole because you want the defense shred necessarily. You also use it because, well, every single Shiyu defense and most encounters have multi enemies, and like it's annoying to group them together. And if you're worried about clear speed, or if you don't want to have to, you know, hassle yourself with, or you know, try to deal with all the different player, or you know, all the different factors moving around, you need someone to clump them together. In the same way that for Caesar, part of the reason why she's so strong is because you can't get interrupted. Like your Jane or whoever you're pairing with Caesar isn't getting, you know, interrupted when they go to swing 100 times, and that's, in my opinion, like absolutely fantastic value. Like she's really good, or I should say Nicole is really good, in my opinion, for the same reason why Caesar is really good. They have something that no or none of the other supports really do uniquely, which again is like, it's not saying much because we don't have that many defensive or supportive characters in the game. But like, look at, compared to literally, I'll even give you the defense characters. Compare what Caesar's shield does to Seth. It's not even comparable. Have you like tried looking at Sokaku's grouping up together compared to Nicole's? It's really not comparable. Like the truth is that in terms of ease of play, like the supportive characters or the characters that belong at tier 0 are definitely separate from the characters in 0.5. And although I definitely had Nicole in actually her own tier, like I had Caesar at tier 0 just because of how insane the shield was, and Nicole is at 0.5. I actually ended up putting, like, I don't know if there would be like a more appropriate like 0.75 tier, but like that's where I put all the other supports actually beneath them.
I see.
Okay.
So after that, what do you suggest? Are you suggesting Nicole being 0.5 or T0?
I think he was acting for 0.
Yeah, I think it's fine to put her in 0. Like I think,
Wow.
you know,
Okay.
I think it's okay for her to be in 0.
Well,
I
that's
do
some
think
hot
it is the
takes.
hot take. It is the hot take.
Look, okay, I gotta be honest, I disagree, but the three of you, well, you outnumber me, so we'll go with
mean, for
democracy.
me-
Well, I mean, 0.5 to 0 is not that hot. You know, it's not like a whole tier.
I think it's a big difference because, you know, like if you have Nicole, you're not gonna like clear a lot of additional content you couldn't have cleared. Well, you have Nicole anyway, right? But like, to me, she just doesn't feel like a character where I can now clear something I couldn't clear because of Nicole. I don't know, right? Whereas like if I get Caesar, oh yeah, I'm gonna slap a whole bunch of stuff that I couldn't slap before, right?
For
So-
that take, I think there's
Yeah.
nothing in ZENLESS that is hard enough yet for that to even like, for like any characters really. Like Caesar, obviously
Yeah.
like a big difference, but like, I don't know. I feel like overall all ZENLESS content right now is like, they haven't reached that part of like, I don't know, like HSR when like Ron May came out. Like there was a big difference.
Yeah, HSR is a bit harder, yeah.
To be honest, I actually kind of disagree because I feel like they literally introduced on Caesar's banner Pulchra to specifically make you want to play Caesar. Like again, I know if you're at the end game of ZZZ, like you probably don't struggle or die to anything really, but Pulchra against my like level 60 Caesar with like fully maxed out disc drive, she was like 12 or 11 on everything that I needed her to be, like max core skill. She lost like 6,000 health from well, it's technically like dodgeable, but you know, you have to time it. It's a laser focused beam of like Gatling gun, or like she shoots at you and it does like literally 40% of your health. if
Well,
you're
you
not paying
could
attention.
also dodge the attack.
No, I know. But the thing is, it's not like a red indicator, but like you have to just know beforehand. It's not really, I don't know.
So in
Like,
terms of like the difficulty, right? Like we're content creators, we play this game a lot, right? Like someone that doesn't play as much, their investment level is going to be way down here, right? Like way down here. So, you know, like you're going to see accounts with like level 50 main DPS, you know, level 30 Nicole supporting them. There's a bunch of hot stuff in the kitchen. So, you know, a character like Caesar in comparison, right? Like they'll be able to carry that account more than a character like Nicole. But okay. You guys, 3 of you are saying T0.
So,
I'm going to defer to you guys. It's fine.
One more question, because if
Yeah,
we
sure.
if we actually compare her not only to the other supports but also
Mhm.
to possibly the stunners or defense units, I would
Yes.
not put her to 0. But
Look, she
if we
takes up
do-
that slot, right? She takes up that slot on a lot of teams. So
I mean, I think it depends a lot. Like, in which team are you realistically playing Nicole currently? That's like a Sujuan team.
just Zhuyan, yeah. I mean, that's the
And-
only team. Oh, Billy too. Zhuyan and Billy.
I mean, fair enough. But in both teams, she is not actually taking the stunner slot.
Correct,
Have you
yes,
guys
those two
tried
teams.
Jane with Nicole?
I personally haven't, but
I have,
that-
but it feels a little extra for kind of.
Well, if your
Like, I
units are
think-
taken up and like you need a support, she does pretty solid in the slot right there. And you can also use the 3-star weapon that gives you extra, what is it? It gives you like
Anomaly.
extra anomaly and proficiency, which is pretty solid as well.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
Okay,
we definitely
we're on one character, guys.
Yeah, we're
on one
okay.
character. All right.
My
this is,
recording says 13 minutes, by the way.
That's okay. We
Yeah.
don't have that many characters yet.
yeah. This is a note.
Okay.
This is a note to my editor. Editor, if you're listening, which you should be. Tier 0. I disagree with Nicole in Tier 0, but hey, we'll move on. All right. Okay. Okay. Next character, Anby. We have Anby. So.
And
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Qingyi exists now,
Mhm.
but Anby still exists. So we're
like
not talking about
Ambi's
it.
like tier 2 just because he's a stunner, or she would go like tier 3. I don't know, that's just me.
I think it's actually okay. I'm gonna do this like as quickly and as quickly and shortly as possible. You need several teams in ZENLESS Zone 0. That's just provably like the way that the Shiyu has been now. Anby is a character that I think if you don't have another stunner, she is definitely serviceable, if not very good. I would actually argue that, especially if you're just looking for a versatile stunner in general, like koleda honestly does not feel that much better than Anby, because you have a lot of like, you have parry
Holy
issues
shit, man.
where you're in the air. Like, you can't actually, always pair a character like Lycaon with someone like Anby. And Anby does stun very quickly. And for me personally, I think that Anby, the very lowest for me, could go like tier 2, but I think she actually fits in tier 1 because, number 1, like, again, she stuns very quickly. She's versatile. She doesn't really have any bad synergies. And the character that we put in tier 0, right, Nicole, they activate each other. So, like, if you're going to play literally any kind of stun composition, I don't really see how Anby could be tier 2 or tier 3, especially when everyone reaches for Anby specifically. Like, I don't think she's tier, like, 0.5 or tier 0, but I think, like, calling her tier 3, I think adds being a bit dishonest. Like, tier 3 is reserved for, like, some really, like, horrendous looking character, Like, I
I'm
don't
here
think
for
she's...
koleda propaganda, so...
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Anby goes in
disagree,
tier
but I
2.
don't want to make the Anby section too long. But I think koleda feels significantly better to play than Anby. Actually, I won't say
100%.
significantly, but okay, there's a thing with Anby. It's the same problem with Soldier's chain attack. All of Anby's attacks are vertical in a straight line. And like when you do a dodge counter, I don't know what it is. Anby's dodge counter just feels bad. I don't know what it is. Like when you're fighting like Thanatos or something, I don't know. It just feels bad. That's like a specific encounter. But
Are you only trying to do dodge counters with your stunners?
no,
Is
I'm
that the
just
only
saying
thing you
like
like to do?
when you do get canceled out your thing and you need the dodge counter, like specifically I remember like during the robots, right? I needed to use Anby because like I had no electric stunner, right? And like I don't know, I just think she feels bad in that spot.
I don't
But
know. I feel like koleda. Sorry, I don't mean to. Just like on the koleda thing, koleda's basic attack combo I think feels like maybe the worst in the entire game. Like, I'm not joking.
it's
You
rough.
have to do the entire. You have to jump in the air and you can't land back on the ground to parry. And like, again, this is assuming just for her basic attack combo. That for me is like terrible. That's like maybe one of the worst feeling like attack combos in the game. If you're only doing dodge counters, I understand it a little bit more. But I've personally never been a fan of having to like sit on a character and wait for something to do something to me.
So,
That's like not. I'm not a fan of that.
from personal experience, I've played koleda a lot on, well, CES for burnice, but also afterwards. after I fortunately got her on, well, in between the burnice pulls.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it
congrats,
feels
congrats.
fantastic. It was the only unit I was missing. I was about to cry. But before we talk about koleda, my vote for Amby goes to Koleda.
Okay, tier 2. All right.
I think she is a good option if you don't have another stunner, but if you have literally any other option, I would choose literally any other option over Amby.
That is Amby's problem, right? Is that if you have literally any other stunner, you would pick, and in fact, if you don't, if you have a character that's not even a dedicated stunner like Caesar, you would pick her. I keep, sounds like I just keep shilling for Caesar, but I mean, that's the thing.
Well, Caesar's the GOAT.
Rita
Caesar's
plays
the
the
GOAT.
GOAT. She's
Caesar's
the GOAT.
100% the
Don't get it
GOAT.
wrong.
That's valid.
She's the goat. Don't get it twisted.
Right? Like every character, buffer, stunner, they have to be compared to Caesar, right? They live in the same, well, game that they're in.
Yep.
So, yeah. For me, I'm fine with either tier 1 or tier 2. When it comes to, I definitely agree with Rivenus. Like, the koleda, I feel like at M0, koleda's like kind of doesn't feel much better than Amby. But the moment you get koleda's M1, holy
But
cow, right?
this is M0. This is M0.
I
think
know.
Wait till we get to Rita. That's gonna we're gonna burn the house for real.
Yeah, fair enough. So, okay. All right, I'm on the fence. What do you guys say? Tier 1, tier 2? I don't remember who said which one. So,
I go tier 2.
Yeah,
I'm not
me and
opposed
the-
to tier
we're tier
2.
two.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, Gibbs.
No, I was just saying me and Rivenus were tier 2.
I see. So, since I don't feel too strongly, and Kana, you don't feel too strongly either, right?
Yeah. To be honest, I said like I think if I didn't say it, my apologies. Like one of the first things I wanted to say is that like tier 2, I can understand. Like I think Gibbs said initially you're like, oh, tier 3. Oh, I don't know about that one. I don't know if I'd put her at the bottom. Like that's
Tier
a
three
Well,
is
tier
fine.
3 was just like a crazy one. It was just like a crazy thrown out there. Yeah, tier 2 is fine. Tier 2 is fine.
We're
Yeah.
close to, our community. This is actually, pretty split. 48 tier 1, 42 tier 2. So, we're just a few percentage points off from them. Now, me
All right.
personally, I tend to value the good in character, so I would have put her in tier 1, but tier 2 is fair too. So let's, I guess, next character. Now, this is my soapbox. Let me start the poll real quick for good old Billy Boy, M6 Billy. Tier placement.
So I want to preface this that I will not give a vote on Billy because I have literally never played him outside of the tutorial.
Oh, I love Billy.
I have
it too.
opinion
I
on Billy. I have an opinion on
Because I have
Billy.
not played him, I do not feel I am in a position where
Okay.
I can make an accurate judgment.
Okay, guys, this is why I am a 90% Billy main. Because every day I log in, this is what I do.
Yep.
This is what
the
I do.
truth. The truth
Right
comes
here.
out.
I
Yep,
use Billy
yep.
more than any other character in this game, and you'll see why. He has saved me so much time. It is not even funny, right?
One stun,
Stop.
instantly kill. I
Done.
love this. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. You are so right.
I would do this if Jane
Done.
Doe didn't also do the same thing.
Look at that.
Okay.
Jane doesn't. Jane doesn't. That's the thing. Because
No,
you have
she
to.
often whiff one on the side. Look, average clear time is like 11. This one was bad because I didn't kill the second wave. Average clear time is 11 seconds. Sometimes you get 10.
Yeah, he's still the
right?
GOAT for this though. Yeah, he's definitely
Okay,
still the
oh,
GOAT
he's
for it.
the
Burnice
goat.
can do the
Really?
same.
Burnice? No.
sure.
I don't know about
Yeah.
Burnice, sir. I don't think her AoE is big enough.
No, Burnice definitely can't. You start with no
I
energy.
definitely can because I literally did that on stream. And no, well, actually, I
Okay,
did
fair
not.
enough. But
Did
look,
do that
Billy
on
is
stream.
so consistent, right? Because like Burnice,
Okay.
you have to angle it, and then she does the thingy, and then finally you touch the guy on the side. Oh, my community's not on my side here. Tier 3 for Billy. No.
What? Okay,
How
okay,
could you
they're
guys
uninformed though.
betray
They're literally
me?
uninformed. I feel
You
like
guys are betraying me.
I feel like most people are uninformed about Billy. He's got it. For me, Billy is like tier 1 or 2.
Okay. I blanked for a second. I thought tier 1 was the highest. I was like, what?
No.
Oh god. Okay.
Even me, as number 1 Billy simp, won't put him in tier 0. Okay.
Tier 0 is crazy. Oh,
No.
my
Tier 0 would be insane. He's not that crazy. He's not that crazy.
It's not that crazy. Yeah.
Wait. So who wants to go first for Billy?
Okay, my opinion, tier 1, tier 2 at lowest. That's my
Yeah, that's
opinion.
me. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
I'm kind of the same. Okay, to be clear, I'm like I've fully maxed out my Billy. Like I'm
Oh.
like a 15 across the board. Like F core skill Billy.
Wait,
like M6
15?
Billy.
No way,
Yeah,
no
15
way, no
across the
way.
board.
Full
Not
max
even Billy's
juice.
15.
Yeah, I'm serious. Wait, I can. I'll
Win
take
to
a
lose, you might be a
screenshot and-
fraud.
Yeah, I know. I've done it.
Oh, no, no,
Billy,
yeah. No,
I'm so serious.
15, 16. Check this bad boy out.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, wait, you're 16.
Wait.
You're crazy.
Oh, wait, I need to do his, I need to do
My
his-
soldier is all 16. Anyone have someone all 16?
I need to do this one. Wait,
Yeah,
no.
Lucy.
Change,
and
change.
Burnice.
Yeah, you're not
This
beating
is
that.
right.
No, Burn is not.
Okay, but how are you the Billy shill and you don't have his F core?
Hang on, wait, I
True.
don't?
True.
Oh, jeez, you're right. Oh, no, I forgot. Oh, I've been caught.
Ah,
I've been caught.
jeez,
Caught,
caught.
caught.
My career's over.
I think putting him in tier 1, tier 2 is fair. I actually not like I know we agreed on like the tier 0 to like tier 2. I actually think that this is a little hard because Billy
Yeah, it depends what you're
is-
fighting.
Yeah, Billy is not only like I think he's really good now that we have a lot of other characters that complement. Like I honestly think that like a team with like Chingy and like Nicole pretty much suits him as ideally as possible. But like even with that aside, I think that there is a clear difference between, you know, the DPSs in the game, you know, of Billy and even characters like Nekomata and stuff and like the top end. But Billy is not at like the same level as Corrin. And again, mega hot take, but I really don't put Billy and how easy and how like usable and just his performance in the same level as someone like, you know, Corrin, Nekomata, maybe even an Anton. I'm not
Okay, I have a
spreading
hot
hate to
take
those
before
characters
we
or
get to
anything, but-
Nekomata. I feel like Billy is better than Nekomata, but we'll wait till we get there.
Yeah, I like him in tier 1. The community tier list I think is a bit incriminating, but I also think that he's a character he is a character that you kind of have to play to really understand like his strengths, but not everyone has the
Yeah.
resources for that, which is like I can understand that, but he's very like easy, straightforward to play, like honestly. He definitely plays like a more I don't know how to describe it. He plays pretty much exclusively off of his energy, and I know that doesn't sound like a mega hot take or anything, but he is so focused on using his energy and like only has very specific burst windows that like the second you're off of those windows, it's not even like Ellen, you know, having normal basic attacks and you can do a dash attack to try and, you know, gain back some damage. Billy falls off a cliff if he doesn't have energy, if he doesn't have his ultimate up, if he's not using a chain attack. And from my experience, like, to be clear as well, I've cleared every single Shiyu floor solo with Billy. Like,
You the goat,
I've done this.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Billy boy.
Yeah, I've done it. Like on stream, I did it with Billy with the node that had Pulchra in it. By the way, just saying. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
he counters Pokra.
Yeah, but I just mean like that difficulty of like the Shiyu. In any case, my point is that he can do it, and his performance and his
Yes,
speed of
yeah.
doing it is really fast. But you have to play him differently. Like you have to definitely work on him being a stunner. Which again, I don't think he's tier 0 or anything like that, because he definitely fails and like falls if you don't have like the perfect team or if you don't invest in him. But I think he's pretty good. Like I think there's some value to this character. Like obviously he's
okay.
not the same, right? But
So here's another thing too, right? Like, I mean, Billy just clears any physical weak content perfectly fine, right? So I think he's, yeah, I mean, to me, you know, tier 1, tier 2, you know, we could keep talking about Billy all day. I don't mind doing that. But let's make a decision here, boys. So what do you guys think? Which tier?
I would be fine
1
with
or
having him in
2?
tier 1, but I'm also
Wow,
fine
okay.
with tier 2.
Okay, so Gibbs is fine with tier 1 or 2. Kana, what about you? 1 or 2?
okay, I said all that. For like the average person, maybe I'm reeling back.
Oh,
a little
average
bit, okay?
person is definitely tier 2. Average
Okay.
person is,
I could
yeah.
probably see like a tier 2.
I think it's a
Okay.
character you one trick 100%.
Yeah.
Rubenis, you have any opinion?
No.
I said yes.
No.
Yes,
No
definitely, yeah.
No opinion on Billy. Okay. Oh man, you know, I like Billy a lot. I'd put him in tier 1, but you know, tier 2's fair. Tier 2's fair. Okay. So.
All right.
Oh man, our tier list is already complete. We have not agreed a single time with our with the community here. Oh man, this is definitely a hot take tier list.
Well, this is ours is supposed to be a little steamy, right?
Oh my goodness.
Ours is not
Oh my
supposed to be
goodness.
like you know.
Bro, this is not steamy. This is an entire forest fire in Canada.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
man.
Even right now, tier 2, tier 0 for the 3 free characters at the start of the game. That's crazy.
Jesus. Yeah.
Actually crazy.
Oh boy. Okay, let's move on. We gotta get through these characters. Next character is Neko Mata. M0 Neko Mata. Replacement. You guys can start yapping while I populate this.
All right, who's got the most? I guess. Who's the biggest Nekomata connoisseur?
I think that's got to be Riv.
I mean, I have the most mindscapes, if that matters.
I'm an M4 on Nekomata.
Okay, never
my
mind.
Nekomata is level 30
Never
though.
mind.
Like, let me be
Okay.
clear. Like,
You have the most. So I've played Nikomata a bit. My main problem with her is you really need her M1, and her
Yeah, I was gonna
M2
say that.
helps her a lot. Like actually a lot. So the thing about Nico is that her dodge counter is actually pretty good, especially if you have trash mobs because it groups them. And he also really likes her signature. So if we are talking about her having her signature but no M1, I would probably put her in tier 0 1.5, which we do not have.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I
Wait.
don't think she's worthy tier 1, but I also don't think she's worthy tier 2. If we include her signature, if we include M1, I would put her probably in tier 1. But
but
I
we're getting
guess-
0, right? So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess we didn't clarify what their wengens were. I mean, would it be like R5 for 4 stars and R1 for 5 stars, or?
yeah, let's just assume signatures because basically everybody has one.
Okay, so R5 for 5 stars, or R1 for 5 stars and R5 for 4 stars. That's fine.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I
Okay.
personally think Neko is fine. She has she has tons of grouping, but outside of that, her damage is a little bit lackluster in my opinion. So
I
can
also
we make
just. Oh,
a
sorry. Go
tier
ahead.
dot what? We should have a tier 1.5 Nekomata.
Oh my gosh.
Because she's the only one fitting in there.
That's pretty
Okay,
valid.
well-
That's pretty valid.
Just for Neko, no, I'm vetoing that idea. No extra tier.
Then my vote goes more towards tier 2.
Tier 2, okay. Yeah. See, at M0 Neko versus M6 Billy, from what I've seen, I've only watched some clear times of each character accordingly. I don't really see Neko doing like a whole lot better than Billy, right? Like, just purely from anecdotal observation. So
Yeah.
I'm fine with her here. Community also, hey, this might be the first time we agree with community.
Also, at the end of the day, Jane exists, so like she just blows up all of
yes.
them.
Yeah.
And for that matter, Piper too. But I think recently the anomaly.
Piper
meta has
is
been most
Piper
favored.
is actually like she's Walmart Jane, but she's not that bad if you don't have Jaina. Like she's still
Bro,
a definitely good option.
Walmart Jane is like, trying to think of an appropriate analogy here, but I don't know. Yeah, it's still good, right? Like still great.
Yeah. Walmart Jane is still probably in like 0.5 to be like okay, not Piper specifically, but you know what I mean. Like Jane
Yeah.
is probably the best like anomaly character in the game. But we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Whoa, fighting words. All right. I mean, I can't say I disagree yet, but we'll see. Okay, so Neko, that's a quick one, guys. We're
All
killing
right,
it.
Fantastic.
Koleda.
Let's
So
go.
Now I'm here for the
Oh,
Koleda.
boy.
Yeah, same.
Oh,
Same.
wait,
Okay, so
Okay.
I would put her in tier 0.5 and every
Oh,
other
I wouldn't
stunner
show her that
outside
hard.
of Chingy below.
I would
think
not show
Koleda
that.
I think Koleda is much better than lycaon. I think Koleda is much better than anby. I think Koleda is much better than Seth. I think Koleda is much better than, Ben, I guess. What
Damn,
other
that's
stunners do we
crazy.
have
That's-
outside
Okay, well,
Chingy,
wait.
Cesar?
Better than
Zero.
Lycone, like gameplay wise, or like just like team,
No,
like team
actually,
options wise.
just better. So gameplay-wise, Lycaon feels like shit to me. Like honestly, you can just shit in my face, and I probably would prefer that over playing Lycaon.
It sounds like you like furries, huh?
No, I don't. That's the thing. But
Quite the visceral
regardless,
reaction.
I really dislike Lycaon's gameplay. I feel like his charge attack style does not feel good, and I personally really like Koleda style. However, what many people do not realize is Koleda dodge counter is pretty insane.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, a lot of people definitely don't know about her dodge counter.
So
She's got the best
point
dodge counter,
being,
right? From a stunning
Koleda has
perspective.
probably the fastest stun application in the game, especially if you utilize her dodge counters, and it also generates a fuck ton of energy. So it is really, really easy, and I agree that especially her basic 4 feels a little bit clunky, especially if many enemies move around. That is probably why I would not put her any higher, because enemies just really move outside of her basic 4. However, the animation is so fucking long, you actually can swap through your entire team while she does that animation without losing out on anything. And I think that is something which many people just don't really do, which, to be fair, is, I mean, you know, understandable. But the moment where her basic 4 starts, you literally can just spot to every other character, do your stuff, and then you come back to her afterwards, and you're good to go. And she applies a fuck ton of, well, days, while also having the really big advantage that every single of her weapons is basically even. Doesn't matter what weapon you choose, there's like a 2% difference outside of Chingy's signature. So she's really easy to build.
So here's a point that I don't think we touched upon yet. The newer DPS characters, they all fall in this awkward range of needing, you know, either like signatures plus like a really meta support to single stun cycle a lot of enemies, or they just need 2 stun cycles, and it doesn't really matter how much damage is amplified from like the stun slot. And because of this, because most accounts are going to 2 cycle most of the bosses in the harder fights, Koleda is, well, you know, arguably the fastest stunner, and because you don't care as much about the damage amplification from Qingyi, because you're not going to be able to 1 cycle it anyway, then, you know, Koleda's there to give you the fast second stun and to kill the enemy, right? So I find that because damage thresholds are kind of the way they are, the fact that Koleda stuns extremely fast is helpful, because like the new characters like Jane, she typically 2 cycles, like, you know, the physical Shiyu 7 bosses, right, for most accounts.
I think there's also a point to be made that, and that this is, to be fair, a pro and a con at the same time. So Koleda's additional ability is pretty fucking useless.
Yeah, the chain attacks, we don't have any chain attack people.
Yeah, that doesn't matter right now. But the great thing about that is also you can literally slot her into any team. It literally does not matter. She will do her job well in any single team.
True.
Which is, after going by all of this, there are better stunners out there because she provides 0 utility and she can feel clunky at point, but her stun application is out of this world, which is why my vote goes to tier 0.5.
Oh,
would you still have her in 0.5 with lighter? Because we know what lighter does. No, we already had the live stream. We had the live stream. We had the live stream. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Wait, I actually not sure how much detail they went into it.
The live stream,
they show his kit.
Yeah, they show his kit.
They show numbers. They didn't show numbers.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say,
I don't know how good lighter is.
The baseline
could like stun 10% of Koleda. Who knows, right? So we can't. Or he could stun like 300%. Who knows?
Well, I was gonna say it's just because he does red shred. So like, and he has the same stun thing as Qingyi, where like he sits into 1 attack string and stuns the person doing that. So like,
I see. Okay.
I think that's gonna drop Koleda. That's why I was gonna put her in tier 1.
Yeah, but he is not out yet, and we literally do not know. So also we have to keep in mind we don't know what his weapon does. Maybe his weapon could also be pretty good for Koleda or something. So
all right.
I would not include any unreleased characters.
No,
yet,
we
or
can't.
Take that into account.
No, we can't talk about unreleased characters, unreleased stuff, right? Because let's make the tier list now. So yeah, Koleda, tier 1. I'm fine with. I personally think tier 1 is a fair placement for her, especially given the future, you know, characters that we're gonna have to go through. So, everyone okay with this?
I think that's pretty fair.
I'm here for the Koleda propaganda. I think she's vastly underrated.
I just want to like have a quick point. Like I feel like when you were talking about Koleda and how like if you're giving the same sort of like leniency towards, oh well, like, you know, Koleda's M4 or like her B4 like kind of sucks. I feel like that's, if you're gonna like give a little bit of wiggle room to Koleda, I feel like you could also give the same wiggle room to Anby. But I mean, look, I honestly kind of agree with like the community tier list a lot right now. Like I'm looking at that right now. I'm thinking in my head, outside of Billy, because I'm like a Billy lover. But you know, I'm
Yeah.
also like, I do think the community tier list like has some pretty similar. Like I think that makes sense. Koleda and Anby for the average player, I don't think is that drastically different.
I
Just
agree.
like my
I
2
agree,
cents
yeah.
about it.
I personally agree because the average player's not going to notice like 3-second faster stun that Blade often provides, you know.
Mhm.
But it's okay, you know. I'm fine with this. I'm with Kana too.
Okay,
I
okay.
like the community tier list more.
Listen. I'm gonna give you all a sub if you put her to 0.5.
Bro,
Okay.
you're bribing us now.
Okay, wait a second.
Hang on. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Holy
2 subs
Corpa.
already. I see that.
Corpa.
All right. Okay. So, okay. I vote for tier 1. I think. Yeah. What do you guys vote? We'll just take this.
Tier
out
one.
with a vote now.
Tier one.
I
Tier
think tier
one.
1's fair.
All right. I'm sorry, Rivenus.
Yeah, this is a bad tier list. I disagree.
Outvoted.
Down vote. Okay. All right. Next character who I gotta be honest. Sometimes I forget he exists.
Anton.
It's Anton.
Who
It's our
cares?
boy
Tier
Anton.
2 next.
Yeah, I think it could just be tier 2.
All right. Let's let the community vote too. Okay.
Okay.
Anton.
I wanna. Okay, so again, just like as a reminder, most of my experience with these characters is because like someone will ask me to like help them with their account or like take a look at Shiyu, and I've experienced like playing Anton in okay, honestly, I need to touch some grass. That's like the chat said it, and it's true. Like I definitely play ZENLESS a little bit way too much. But I will make it clear, I don't play ZENLESS extremely well. Like I do clear a lot of the content, but I don't think I'm like way better than any like or even the average gamer. Like I think I'm quite bad. However, every time that I played Anton, like something that always comes up is like, dude, Anton, when you play him properly, or like I've seen this video of Anton one cycling, or like, you know, he does like a, you know, off the first ultimate, 20-second clear, 30-second clear with Anton M6, and I feel so conflicted putting him.
Those
as
people
low
are
as I
spreading
normally-
misinformation.
Whoa.
Agreed, but like if you get a 20 to 30-second clear on something, you may not be tier 0, but are you tier 3? Like, you know, like it feels.
Well, I said tier
to
2.
me, it feels well.
Let's just put her tier
like
2.
even tier
that
2,
way
you
we
know,
don't
like.
get cancelled.
Also,
Like,
I was gonna say,
he does feel bad, right? Like,
Here's
but
my
you know, if he
opinion on
can clear
Anton.
that fast.
I
Here's
think
my
I
opinion
think it's
on
cool that he
Anton.
has the mechanics to keep up his uptime with the drill.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a fancy mechanic. So here's what my opinion on Anton is: if you really know what you're doing, you can absolutely make him slap some cheeks, right? But for most players, he just feels bad, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
He just run out of
Totally.
energy, and then he's. I don't even want to say it, but yeah, and then
he gets off. He leaves off stage. Like, get off my screen.
And most players, you know, they just want to like drill, baby, drill, not have to worry about
Mm-hmm.
min-maxing all this stuff and whatever, right? So I think for the average player, tier 2, tier 3 is what I would put in. But you're right, Connor. There are people that will min-max his damage. They'll like figure out exactly what substats to do and clear in like 20, 30 seconds, maybe even faster. I don't know. I haven't seen any faster than that. But yeah, so tier 2, I guess, yeah, we're already done. We're already done with him, right?
Yeah.
Compensates for our Nicole and Koleda section.
So community thinks he's in tier 3, right? So I'm fine. Community is actually a bit closer on this one compared to most of the others. So some people think he's in tier 2, some people think he's in tier 3. I feel a little bit more validated. Thank you everyone who voted. And tier 3 voters too. Your opinion is valid too, and actually here it is reflected. So let's see. We can end this poll. That was record speed, guys. Thank you.
The
Holy.
next one will be even faster. Guoba isn't here, so we can just take Ben.
I'm
put him
probably
in just skip it.
propaganda.
I'll just skip him. Oh my goodness. Tier 0 to tier 2, and then tier 3, and then bear tier, right? We'll give him a proper rating.
Okay,
That
I
is
have to
very
say, for Ben, I know that there are equally as many Anton videos as there are of like
Or
people
Ben,
one
yes.
cycling. There are
Yes.
equally as many Ben videos of someone showing like them doing 1 point something million damage to Nineveh. And
Yeah.
like what I want to lose said earlier, it's not that, you know, any character in this game is unplayable. Like truly, Like a lot of characters, when you put enough time and effort into them, they may not feel great, but like if you want to take like a, you know, damage per screenshot kind of take on it, like yeah, Ben can do infinity damage, but I don't see most, if almost anyone, reach for Ben, just because you're already given so many free characters to begin with, that the odds of you not having a support or a character that can take Ben's place, I feel like is so low.
Yeah.
And yes, like he does give a little bit of stun, or like can sometimes take the role of a stunner, and yes, he also gives like a, you know, a bit of like
Crit
a crit
buff.
rate buff, but you know, how much value is that, especially when the characters that would be paired with the crit rate characters are like Chang'e, are gonna be Anby, are gonna be Lycaon, Sokaku, even Lucy. It just feels like Ben doesn't have someone that he ideally does that with. And before someone says Koleda and Ben together, because I know that's like something we were riding like at the very beginning of the game.
They
that
nerfed it
combo
from
is
the
not-
beta.
Yeah, that
That
combo
shit
is
sucks so hard.
yeah, is not actually valuable at all, because it
Bro,
buffed
It
Koleda.
looks cool.
Yeah,
I wish they
but you're
did that with
like-
more characters. I wonder if they planned for more characters.
Oh, they have
Yeah.
to be. They have to be. It's a shame the motorcycle girls don't do stuff like that.
True.
Yeah, it's such a shame too, because it's such a cool concept. Like they should
Oh,
add
it's
that
great.
to other characters, you know?
It's
I
great.
mean,
Imagine
go
if
play Honkai
Piper,
Impact. Honkai
imagine if
Impact Third has
Piper
that.
and Bernice like just started applying Anomaly together at the same time.
That
That'd
would
be
go
would be,
crazy.
So
like,
crazy.
There's like a like, animation or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's so
amazing.
crazy, but it missed opportunity. Oh well.
Mhm.
Okay, so Ben. Oh wait, I put him in tier 0 because we're talking about him.
Oh, reason-wise, I think he might actually be the first character we put in 3. I think
Okay.
he
Yeah.
really is just like anyone that says they want to use Ben, I feel like is missing someone, and that's the only like if the only reason you want to use a character is because you have nothing else to reach for, you know, that's not like a good justification for a character being strong or anything. It's literally that, you know, it's the shiniest poop in the you know what I mean, in the poop in the toilet. So I don't
Yeah.
know, it's okay. He also has like one of the rare cases of being a character that scales on defense, but although they've released subsequent defense units and like, you know, after him, they seem to still not care about defense or HP as a stat still. And so Ben is kind of like left holding the bag of, guys, defense is really good. Like, trust me, defense is so good. And then he's just not good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
he's
true.
just got like, you know, he's the only character that has to scale with defense, but like, why would you like ever do that?
I
right
will
now?
say, the clear times I've seen with Ben actually really surprised me. Right, like for
Yeah.
for those players out there that make Ben work, it's actually pretty crazy, and you guys should Google it or, you know, YouTube it, because oh man, I wish I knew the content creator's name off the top of my head, but
Yeah,
he's doing
no,
like
I don't
what?
think I will do that. That doesn't fit my narrative.
Yeah.
It's your narrative. Okay.
Okay, live in our bubble. But yeah, like based on what I've seen of him, he's similar to Anton. Like Kana was saying, how
Mhm.
you can make Ben do infinity million damage, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
but in that case, we also have to move Anton down if he's similar to Anton.
Yeah. Well, that is a problem, right? And actually, if you think about it, Ben provides more utility than Anton too, right? Anton can literally only do damage, and Ben can, well, you know, do damage and support a little bit, right? So
And 15% crit rate on a shield, which is literally gone the moment somebody looks at you.
yes, that's true. Yes, it's true. But Ben applies more days too, right, than Anton by a
Yeah,
decent
then
amount.
let's move Anton down by 1. If
Oh.
nobody
Hey,
disagrees.
more Anton slander, I'm okay with it. Honestly, I really, every time I played that character, it has taken me like 10 times longer to clear anything. I am so
Okay.
for putting him lower. I've just been like flamed to like Narnia and back when I say that Anton is bad, which is why I'm like, okay.
Are we fine with this, guys? These.
I am fine with this.
All
Let's
right.
create a tier 4 just so we don't get cancelled.
Okay, I don't know if I'd go that low for the character.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of Bellabog though, Grace.
Grace.
Oh yeah, Grace is up next. Okay.
Hell yeah, feed.
Dude,
So
dude,
Here,
what do we do with Grace?
she's hard.
So I have
Yeah.
the problem. I don't think she is necessarily bad, but I think she does not A, have a good team, and B, she feels so clunky to play.
I feel like she's
very
just gapped.
difficult to use.
I think the only thing saving her is because she's anomaly. That's like it. I feel like her kit is still like beta though. like every anomaly character we have right now applies their anomaly with their basic attacks, but like Grace only does it with her skill.
She does on like her third, right? Doesn't she? Like
Yeah.
her E3 or B4.
Yeah.
She does it on one of them. It's very limited though. You are right compared to like the
Yeah.
others.
I would put her tier 2 currently.
Tier 2.
I don't know about tier 2. I think still because she's still anomaly. She still has like disorder and
but
everything.
The problem is, so my question is always, why would I play Grace if I instead can play literally any other anomaly character?
What if you don't?
think
Well,
even
like what anomaly
Piper
characters
is
would
nice.
you? Yeah, but
Jane,
what about Grace
Piper,
and Piper?
Burnice, I would not play that.
Like, okay, but you know, like, okay, so how you're saying like, oh, all these other anomaly characters, the other anomaly characters that we have right now are all like limited banners.
Yeah, they're not shock anomaly either, to be fair. Too.
Yeah,
True.
Like, so if there's electric, like, what are you gonna do?
So
Just
I feel like
Chingy, I don't know. Chingy.
What are we talking about? What are
Okay.
we talking?
So here, in terms of electric, there's actually a really interesting issue. We have not had a single true endgame content for electric yet. The only thing we've had are Shiyu 16 with an electric in like the first half, and that's it. Which you can brute force 16 most of the time with an off element. Like for example, a Julian team or an Ellen team, they can easily brute force floor 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually the issue for, you know, an electric character like Grace, is there just isn't the content for her, in my opinion, to really even have like a decent basis of comparison. But personally, when I use Grace, I also feel like she's really difficult to use, right? Like, the electric ticks just don't feel like that crazy, in my opinion, but
I think
know-
Grace is a very unique niche, but that requires her M1.
another M1 needed.
Yeah, because her
right? Yeah.
M1 gives energy to the team
Well,
on every fourth basic.
the thing is, like, so when the game first came out, Grace was like the first character that I built for undisclosed reasons. Maybe not some, maybe not some, not some
All right,
propaganda.
Kana,
from the
is
game,
it
But
is it the armpits or the feet?
I'll leave that up to you to decide. Does that sound like a more fun game? But the thing is, like, the thing about Grace, and again, this is now speaking as someone that has played like the different variations of like anomaly. Grace at the very beginning was only in that top like maybe 0.5 or maybe tier 1 slot originally because there simply were no other anomalies. Your anomaly choices were Piper or Grace, and that was like really it. And like if you wanted to do disorder, which I think a lot of people were stating to be very strong, you had to play some version of it. Now you could have used Grace with Anton, but as we all know, Anton is, well, tier 3, and he doesn't feel that good to play. And the thing is that like Grace, I think, struggles a lot, right? And I agree that she's definitely fallen off, but I feel like part of the reason why you may want to rate Grace so poorly isn't even necessarily that she does like things poorly, but you're directly comparing them to like Burnice, and Burnice applies anomaly the way that Grace wants to apply her anomaly. If Grace, all Grace had to do was throw a grenade, and then like every time an ally auto attacks off field, you like start zapping, that character's amazing. Like that honestly seems like how Grace should be like working right now. That's how her kit should work in theory compared to Burnice, but because they released Burnice, you're like, wow, Grace sucks. But I will say, because again, Grace isn't just a character that works with anomalies. She technically is in Anton's best team. I don't think she's, I don't know, she's definitely not tier 3. I wouldn't say necessarily tier 2 either. I think she like kind of has to be tier 1, because if you're someone that wants to play an anomaly and you want to play disorder and you don't have the new characters, you didn't pull for Burnice, you didn't pull for Jane, you have no options. That's like pretty much it. You have to take something with Jane, or you have to take something with Piper or something with Grace. And I think because of that, she has to be in tier 1. Like, I don't think you could go any
Fair
lower than
enough.
I think tier
cannot
1's
argue
okay.
against that.
Yeah, because she works reasonably well at Burnice. You can do some pretty massive disorders, even if it's a bit awkward at times. You can still do it, and you know, we can guess where the other disorder characters are going. So you know, I think it's reasonable to put her here, right?
Mhm.
So Koleda goes tier 0.5 now, right?
Tell you what, we can do this.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
1 sub earned.
Oh god. Okay.
Compromise. Yeah. All right. Yeah, tier 1's fine, right? I think tier 1's fine. Okay. Next character is
Doesn't
Rivenous'
exist.
favorite. Rivenous' favorite. Why don't you kick this one off?
No, man. I
I'm
will
back
not say
up.
anything because I can tell you that my YouTube channel will be deleted after this if I say anything. So.
I mean, the thing is, like, I thought it was kind of. Oh, sorry. Actually, like, not to keep coming back to Koleda, even though that's like the running thing now. But I feel like it's kind of weird to be okay with the way that Koleda plays, but not be okay with lycaon plays, because they both, in my opinion, don't have very good. Like, they don't have, like, I think the best, most ideal stun pattern would be, okay, you walk up, like, you press E and you swap. Like, if you could do that as a stunner, that would be amazing. And for most cases with lycaon and koleda, if you're fighting like a small mob, they both do the exact same thing. You walk up, you use an EX special, and you instantly proc you know, a stun on the enemy. Now, like, when it becomes longer, I think both have, like, you know, the same sort of weaknesses. It's annoying to have to do your combo. Yeah, like, koleda does have dodge counters, and that's like pretty viable, but lycaon kind of has a similar thing where, okay, yeah, you just keep using your E or specials and you just sit there and you stun. And when it matters, I think the damage that he provides and just honestly the synergy that he has with Ellen, I don't think you could put him any lower than like, not even talking about tier 2 at this point. Like, putting
I would have
lycaon
him
in tier
0.5,
2
yeah.
would be fucking would honestly be crazy. But 0.5 I think is, you know, like where I would honestly put a character like him.
My point is, lycaon is only good in one single team, and
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
the ice team, because the only thing what has him possibly above koleda is the fact that he provides, well, ice damage bonus, the form of shred, but regardless.
And stun
Yeah.
multiplier.
Yeah, but honestly, lycaon feels so fucking shit to play, at least for me personally, and that's a
I never
subjective
felt
opinion.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
No,
I
I
do
did
not
not feel
agree
I
with
think he
bad to
is-
play.
I think he is even with koleda. If I am being objective, if I'm being subjective, I think koleda is above him.
I would only put him with Koleda if Lighter is out, but we're not talking about Lighter, so I'd put him in
Yeah.
0.5 because he still has Ellen team. Even though it's just one
I-
team, he performs in
I
Ellen
would
team.
not put him in tier 0.5. I think that is simply wrong because there's literally one single team you can use him in. One single team, that's it.
I mean, but that team is like, that team outperforms like 90%. I mean, outside of, seriously, like outside of GUN, and unless if you dip into anomaly teams, who does Ellen's ice team lose to?
I mean, I would argue every single anomaly team, Sujuan team possibly.
Yeah, it's different though, because we're talking about, like, you know what I mean? We're just talking about
Yeah, the other
stunners, and there
three-
isn't even,
Yeah, the other 3 featured 5-star characters, right?
like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. The point is that, like, for me, I think that what he does for his ideal team is pretty amazing. There is not at this time another character in the game that shreds and also provides the stun damage bonus that he does. And just to be clear as well, because when Chingy came out, we were like, the question immediately came up, is Chingy better? Like, can you replace lycaon with Chingy in Ellen's best ice team? And the answer is no. So, like,
Oh, yes,
in
you
terms
can.
of value,
I mean,
well,
yes,
I
you
mean,
Yeah, I feel like you can.
No,
well,
no,
sorry,
no.
sorry. What I mean is that, like, does Ellen end up performing better with lycaon as opposed
Not by
to Chingy?
much. No.
Yeah, and like
not
it's
really.
still skewed towards lycaon, even despite, you know, Chingy got buffed, by the way, if you guys remember from like the pre-release to launch, which is crazy. But even with all that and her being, I think, probably the highest damage increase stunner in the game, lycaon still edges out. I feel like it'd be kind of weird to put him in the same spot as koleda. Like,
Yeah, so
you know,
I also feel like Lycaon will likely just, for a very long time, always be the best ice stunner for an ice team, right? And right now it's true we only have Ellen. But, you know, just like how we only have Burnice as a fire anomaly, or we only have Jane, well, okay, now we have Piper. We only have Zhu Yuan as an ether character.
Yeah.
We have to evaluate them in their niche, and to me, I think Lycaon is just very likely future-proof for ice teams.
Yeah,
despite
he'll
even
definitely
being a
age
standard
way
bearer
better.
character. I think so, yeah. As we get more ice characters in the future, I can absolutely see Lycaon still being the GOAT for those teams. So I think he belongs in tier 0.5 in comparison to most. I never had the gameplay issues that Rivenous is mentioning with him. You just dodge when needed, and then you press and hold the left click button. And for maybe the third one, you can swap cancel it. And that's really all there is to him. You just have to click and
Yeah.
hold the mouse button a bit more with Lycaon compared to
Yeah,
other
it might be
characters.
skill issues, not saying that. It's just personally I just dislike his gameplay. This entire
Yeah.
hold left click and then you charge for like what feels like an eternity, but then you get hit in the meantime because you kind of do not want to cancel it, but you have to. Then you have to dodge counter, and then everything feels like I don't know. It just feels bad to me personally.
Well,
It's
I'd
not
rather
that it is
hold
bad, it just
than have to
feels
spam click like you do on Chingy. It
Oh
breaks
god,
my
Chingy.
fingers.
Yeah.
Chingy, man. Oh god.
Yeah, you're mashing the left click button, and if you slow down the left click a little bit, she does like the finisher attack. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. So, are we fine with tier 0.5 then?
I am fine with tier 0.5.
I am
Kana?
too.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Oh man, sorry, Rivenus. We keep.
Yeah, what shall I do? I mean, there are only two things which are really important. Those are Lucy and burnice. But I mean, we will probably agree on those. So.
Probably yes. Okay, MZ Arena.
Clueless.
This is the place for hot takes, I think.
So, yeah,
Okay.
that is a place for a hard take. My take is, so the question is, how do we evaluate her? Do we evaluate her on the average player, or do we evaluate her on her potential? Because I think that is the difference between tier 0 and tier 2.
I think it would make
Zero
sense.
and
for
Wait,
two.
us-
tier 2.
Yes, I think so.
I
I
mean,
think
you make
if-
a good point. Yeah.
If
So
we're
what-
calculating it at M0 5 stars and M6 4 stars, I don't think it makes sense for us to like. I don't think we're doing like a max of max, like perfect play. If you're a perfect player and you love the game this much, you're probably not M0 on your 5 stars. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, you spend your life speedrunning the game and you're M0 on your 5. I don't think that really makes sense. So I
Hold
think,
up, guys.
you know, on the
Break
average
time.
player-
Sorry. Billion
Oh.
gave $2 super chat. Thank you so much. And he asks, does no one play with a controller? LOL. You guys play
No.
a controller?
I play
Keyboard.
on mobile. Like I do most of my stuff on. I still play on
Goddamn,
PC most of the
I
time.
played the
but,
new
What was it
Sonic
again?
on controller.
Way back, Sonic Adventures, some 2 or whatever. Oh no, man. Yeah, that's my childhood at least.
They just had a new one come out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I use controllers, but it's for cinematic shots because it's really hard to get a smooth pan with the mouse, right?
Mm.
The
Yeah, it's true.
because you can just hold the left joystick. It does a nice little smooth pan. So for those of you content creators out there that want nice cinematic shots for the background and B-roll, there you go. A little bit of advice. Anyway, okay. So that's super chat out of the way. What were we talking about? Rina? Oh yeah, we're talking about Rina.
So I
I'd
guess
put it at tier 1
mean,
minimum.
I would argue if you can play Rina extremely well and you especially can switch her in basically every 5 seconds. Also, by the way, it seems like Rina is bugged.
Oh, bugged. Okay.
Yeah, you can check our ZZZ server for that.
Oh, I'll
Live
check
has
that, yeah.
posted
Are you
something
talking about her
that.
C1?
No, her. Yes.
Yeah,
It
it's
only
the
seems
it's the
like-
the text. Like actually, well, I don't know. But yeah, the text is wrong on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not talking about
regardless-
C1.
Yeah, so a point being, I think if you can swap her in every 5 seconds, it's good. If you have her signature, you need to do that every 3 seconds, which makes it extremely hard, but that would definitely be tier 0, because that weapon is just extremely hard. But otherwise, if you cannot do that and you lose like even 50% uptime, I would put her tier 2, because she doesn't provide much else, especially if you cannot make use of the increased truck duration.
I think tier 2 is
for
crazy.
disorders specifically. So I think going for tier 1 for the average player is fine.
I'd have her 0.5 or tier 1 minimum.
Okay.
I feel like I have to say that every 8 seconds to do anything in this game, especially if we're talking about for the average player, like it does not make sense to put her in tier 1. Now I know that like if you have a bit more like fluency, or if you're like a bit more familiar with Rina, she could definitely be in like that 0.5, like maybe even tier 1. But I seriously feel like Rina is maybe one of the most like annoying characters to keep track of in terms of like stats and buffs and like what she's doing. She, if I'm not mistaken, in a lot of cases, like is kind of locked behind changing the way that you play your entire team around, not just because you have to maintain the pen ratio buff, but I think like some calculations show that like you'd have to swap off to pen ratio 2, which means that you'd have to like whether or not you use like pen ratio with your DPS now gets changed, and then you have to change, and then you like Rina, I think for herself right now isn't even at her max potential, which I don't think is like a negative towards her, but you can't even get her max pen ratio buff.
I feel like with the time logic, then you would have to say that for Nicole too, no? Nicole's 3 seconds. Or like 4 seconds, I guess.
6, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree, but I think that the clumping I think is kind of different, because once enemies are stuck together, they not only get stuck together, they also get like stunned for like a brief moment, which I think is more valuable than Rina walking onto field, pressing E, and then like, okay, now you have 8 seconds where you have to do everything, and like even if there's multiple even if there's like multiple things going on, you have to keep remembering to like, okay, now I swap back to Rina, like do my thing, and then swap back to Rina and do my thing, and then swap back to Rina and do my thing. Whereas I think in most cases, if you're playing with GUN, once the main wave is over, you're just relying on chain attacks to apply her orb, or you're using her EX special. Like I think I Win to Lose put in his GUN video, when someone's doing an extended long basic attack and you have time to swap out, and then, but again, I know we're just talking about the average player. I just think that Rina in 0.5 is not like, I could never see that. Like I feel like that's like, if you're like a really good player, I'm sure you can make it happen, but I don't think like the average person will ever get to that point, because it's just by the time you do that, honestly, I think Rina's probably gonna just be released with better with like better characters to like replace her or something.
Yeah, and there's also there's significant opportunity cost for swapping on and off every 3 seconds, right? Because like so many characters, the best part of their kits are kind of backloaded in their E5s or whatever, or you don't have any energy, or the character won't even swap on properly because they're still lingering from earlier. It's like a lot of awkward stuff for the average player. Yeah, it sounds like we're all fine with her being in tier 1, taking an average of Rivenus between the super skilled and the unskilled, and based on Gibbs, myself, I think she's fine at tier 1. Kana, wait, did you end up saying what you think she should be in?
She's okay in tier 1. I probably would have leaned lower towards tier 2, but I don't think the difference between like tier 1 and tier 2 is like so significant, to be honest. It's not like tier 0 to tier 3 or anything.
Okay,
right.
Everyone happy with tier 1?
Yeah.
Great. Move on from Rina. Next character is Ellen. Ellen.
Still tier 0.
Great. Anyone else want to add anything to that?
Sure.
Oh, oops. I didn't do
I'll
tier
figure
2 to
it.
3, but yeah.
Oh, kinda.
I think Ellen definitely still has to stay tier 0. I know right now, like I don't think the meta right now or the Shius really favor ice at all.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of ice
Not
users.
recently, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of force you to pick something that isn't ice, at least for one team. But usually I end up using Julian or Ellen on the other side, and I feel like Ellen is still performing how she does, or how she originally has. There's really no difference. I think I've seen a few people swap out someone like Sokaku now for Caesar, just because they don't want to deal with how annoying it is to do the chain attacks, or do like or like even mess with the flag mechanic to get the attack increase over just being shielded. And honestly, like with that, I think Ellen has really not like dropped or changed at all from being a solid DPS, which is what she was at the start. But I do think that while she stays in tier 0, like as you'll see with the next characters that we talk about, she's definitely, I think, like one of the last characters I reach for nowadays. Like I usually just use Jane and Juyuan, but that's not really anything towards Ellen. I think she's still like very good, and she deserves to be tier 0. But I will say that she does feel really, or much weaker when you don't have lycaon, especially now that the ice advantage Shius have gone off.
Yeah,
like for sure.
Yeah, I think T0 is fair, personally. Can honestly just keep it quite short. What about you, Rivenus?
I regret pulling her, but yeah, tier 0.
That's a pretty high accolades for a character you regret pulling for.
I mean, subjective versus objective is something different, right?
Fair enough. Okay.
Alright.
So, unanimous. Is she the first unanimous between us four for tier 0? Might be. Huh. All right. Well,
Was our? Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I think Ellen was. Yeah, I think Ellen was. Okay.
maybe Nico, but yeah, definitely Ellen for sure. So that's pretty
Yeah.
good. Congrats to Ellen for being the first one there. So next up is Corin, easily the best character in the game.
I actually have Corrin invested in too. She is, she's also F core skill for me, and I have her also at 15. I don't think she's like unusable. I do like the obvious, the obvious elephant in the room is that when someone moves away, you're instantly like a tier 4 character. But,
True.
but for like most DPSs, I think right now you are kind of playing under the assumption that you can force someone to stop moving, right?
So
Like you're playing off of
basically,
this stun, right?
what you are saying is that Corin is really good versus mandrakes.
Okay, well, I mean, the thing is, like, if all you're doing, or if the only or the biggest weakness of a character is that they have to stop moving for you to do damage, I mean, like, I don't think there are that many characters in the game, or from the DP or from the attack agent category, that don't actually play under the assumption that you're going to stun first, then do your rotation. And I don't think when you get to that point with Corin, she is so unusable that she is, like miles worse than like Billy or even like Anton, Neko. Like hell, honestly, like even Soldier, as we'll get to her. But I think because it's like really hard to like see her chainsaw target move away as you're holding out the chainsaw, I think like probably the highest you could give her is like tier 2. Like I don't think you could ever put her any higher than that.
I vote for tier 2 as well, right?
Yeah, I just think
in
Corin.
in between Neko
let's
and
go.
Billy.
Yeah, I just
Like,
think she's like physical Zhuyuan, but she's a 4-star, so like remove like 50% of like the power and puts her in like tier 2.
Her kit also like synergizes perfectly, like exactly perfectly with
Wait,
the whole
did,
stun character
Did
composition.
Guoba just join us? Guoba,
Yo.
Yo.
Hello.
Yo.
The bears
Sorry,
here.
we already put Ben in tier 3. Sorry,
I
buddy.
know.
You missed out. You missed out. We just finished Corin as well.
Wait, did we finish her yet? She's still in tier 0.
Okay. Well, sorry. I just finished talking about
Okay.
Corin. I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on Corin.
Yeah, I think she's fine tier 2.
Tier 2. Easy enough. All right. Guoba, you fine with that? Hopping in on Corin.
I'm just looking through them right now. Yeah, Corin there. Seems cool, but I just
Fair
don't like seeing
Guoba just
them
died
outside
looking.
Whoa, dude, you fit in perfectly. Hot takes tier list. God damn.
All right, next character is M6 Lucy. So you guys can
Yeah,
start arguing about it.
Like tier 0. Let's move on to burnice, also tier 0.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's tier 0 as well. I think the character's busted.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if I'd put her in tier 0.
We're
Okay, you don't
C6.
count. Do you want to leave the
C6,
call?
she gives you
Okay.
the attack buff. You get crit damage. She does damage, and her buffs have like permanent uptime.
So,
Okay, so here's my thoughts. If we leave Nicole in tier 0, I think it's fine to have Lucy in tier 0. I think the two are similar, if not, I would even say Lucy's a bit better than Nicole overall.
Yeah.
It's just that when I put them next to Caesar, right, I always circle back to Caesar, right? But when you put like Lucy next to Caesar, not only are their damage buffs similar, but Caesar obviously, at least in my opinion, just does a lot more.
All right, but
Providing invincibility, super fast stuns, versus, maybe Lucy does more damage. I think Lucy does more damage, but yeah, so that's
but
just
is
kinda my
there
take.
any teams where Caesar and Lucy like steal each other's slots? I feel like there's none.
yeah, burnice teams.
Yeah, anomaly
Yeah.
or disorder teams, right? Disorder
Yeah.
team. Yeah.
I don't know if I would run Jane and like both Caesar and Lucy too. I would probably still be fine with like just using Seth's defensive assist over.
I think Seth is a bum, but we'll get there.
I think he is too. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I think he's a bum too, but I think doesn't overlapping attack buffs kind of not make sense for the two of them?
Just full
Fair enough.
juice.
Yes, it definitely gets diluted.
And Seth also provides like especially if we're talking about M6 like way more days than Lucy. Not that you're using Lucy.
Well, it depends what
exclusively
team
for
you're.
days or anything,
It
but,
depends what team you're running. That you would need the days.
I mean, well, okay. What I'm speaking from like specifically is if you had to choose between like Jane, Seth, and your choice of Caesar, or Jane, Lucy, and Caesar, like one team gives you anomaly proficiency buff, which wouldn't be diluted by like another attack increase, versus another one that has two, you know, anomaly or two attack focused buffs. And then one of the teams gives you more days from like the second target, aka Seth, and the other doesn't. Like Lucy's pretty much just there for the attack increase and the crit damage buff, which, you know, obviously Jane doesn't gain any value from. And then it just kind of feels like I would never run Jane, Lucy, and Caesar together, as opposed to just swapping over to Seth, because Seth takes literally no like field time at all if you really want to, and he still gives you the anomaly proficiency buff, he still gives you the days, and he also fulfills, you know, obviously he fulfills like the additional ability.
Okay. So are you advocating for tier 0.5?
If you want to move Nicole down, I think that's okay. In my own opinion, like in my own thoughts, I never put Nicole in the same tier as Caesar, but I think that like if we're gonna leave Nicole there, I could maybe see Lucy being up there, because again, it is like a very like universal support. However, I like just exactly like you, I wouldn't lose, dude. Caesar is really similar, like very similar feeling in my opinion to Lucy. Like, yeah, one maybe applies or does like a little bit more anomaly or something along those lines depending on how you're using them, but like I don't know if you guys have personally done it, but running Caesar and Lucy together, I just feel like it doesn't make sense. That's kind of like running
I think it does.
Lucy
I
and,
think it's fine.
like Lucy and Sokaku together. I feel like that. Like, would you ever do that? I also wouldn't do that.
No.
But Lucy, Caesar, Soldier 11.
I can see that more. I can see that more.
Let's have Guoba say something. He literally has not been here for the last 1.5 hours.
The Guoba thoughts. Also, I'm Gib, by the way. Because I don't know if
Hello.
you know.
Hello, Gib. I think I wasn't here for the reasoning for Nicole. Why was Nicole put tier 0?
Oh, I said tier 0.5, but hey, you
Yeah,
guys
I
can,
think tier 0.5. I think Lucy's more universal than Nicole.
yeah.
Hey, this
I
is
would
a
agree
hot
on
takes
that.
tier list, Guoba. Get with
Oh,
the
hot
times.
take.
My
buddy.
thing
Oh,
with
sorry.
Nicole is
Is that
I
what
think
Ben did?
Caesar can definitely
Okay,
bump
alright.
out Nicole because we don't have them in ether DPS yet. Like once we have more ether DPS, I think it allows Nicole to move back up. But I still think Nicole's like insane, so I don't know. But
Okay,
I'm
so I guess
yeah, I
with
don't
Guoba as the 5th vote tiebreaker, we can't actually move Nicole down to tier
I'm sorry,
0.5.
Nicole.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is there?
that's fine.
Are we gonna be
Because
okay
she
with
owes
that?
us
Yeah?
money.
Okay.
But Lucy is certainly T0, especially at M6, which, well, we are ranking up.
Okay. Okay.
Wait, if we move Nicole down, do you think I was advocating for Nicole to 0.5 if Lucy also goes down? I don't think Lucy's.
No, I think
Lucy
Lucy has
is-
more general use than Nicole though.
He does. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she also does much more damage.
You think she's on the same tier as Caesar?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
because
for
I think
different
you all the stuff you named for Lucy, you forgot fire teams because we only have Soldier 11. Well, I mean, and Burnice.
And Burnice. Yes.
Okay.
And Ben Bigger.
Okay, Ben, propagandist.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
Ben. Oh my gosh, we forgot about him.
That's crazy.
Oh, sorry, Guoba.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I like Lucy tier 0. I think she's very universal, and she has a niche in off-field damage if more characters like burnice come out. Because
Dude,
Caesar can't buff burnice's off-field.
Imagine a character that buffs minions. I can't wait.
Oh my god.
True.
Bang Boo meta.
Yeah,
let's
I'm
go.
waiting for the Bang Boo
meta.
guy. They have Bang Boo buffs in the Hollow Zero. I'm waiting for we get a character that does that.
Yo. What's Enzo? Yeah, make Enzo a playable character, please.
True.
Alright.
Sure.
Okay, so I think Lucy, tier 0. I'm fine with tier 0 or 0.5 personally. It is hard. She's on the fence for me, and I can go either way with her, so yeah. Everyone okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, so next character is Piper. Let's talk about little old Piper here.
I
would
think she
rank her
0.5.
in 0.5. Yeah.
I think of the characters that would. I think of the characters that need to fill a certain role. Like, you know, if you try to like replace GUN with Billy, you are gonna feel miserable. But I actually think that playing Piper does not feel nearly as bad.
Yeah.
Comparatively, like when you have to fill in the anomaly slot with Piper, I don't think you are like on the ground like, why God have you forsaken me? Like it's not. It's really not the same as, you know, playing Anton or Corin in replacement.
Or Ben.
Yeah, or Ben, yeah.
Okay, well, hey, I gotta be respectful to the Baron here, but I think, you know, 0.5 I think for Piper I think is okay. I think if you would go lower to tier 1, I think it also is fine. M6 I think is what like really seals the deal though. Like I think M6 Piper, especially if we're talking about her signature, like that's a real threat, like a real threat.
Oh yeah,
I think
she
M6 is that
cleans
crazy.
up.
I mean, I think in terms of like, I don't think it would necessarily change her top end, but I think like in terms of being usable, like your basic attacks don't feel nearly as dumb, even though I don't think you should really be using it anyways. But like her power, like just in terms of how long you can stay on the spins for, like sometimes I feel like you are sitting in the spin trying to gather mobs together too. Like I don't think there would even be that much of a difference between tier 1 and 0.5.
Well, if she ever went into tier 1, Grace would have to move down. I'm not saying she should move down. I'm just saying if she moved down, Grace would have to move down. But I want her to be.
Are they that different?
Yes.
Like I just feel like they're just like another anomaly that you'd have to fill up. Who isn't, unfortunately, Jane.
I think Piper
or
is
Burnice.
definitely better in just assault team and then disorder teams, which is like all anomaly now. She has like the full Sons of Calydon team, and then we're getting more anomaly characters. I think she just keeps getting better.
There is also one thing which burnice mains have cooked up, which I honestly didn't think about, but it felt really good after trying it. And in a burnice Piper, Lucy team,
Yeah, you just
with
spam the
Lucy-
boars. So yeah, that trick is crazy.
No. Well, using the Lucy ultimate actually solves all of your energy issues.
Oh yeah, because it gives. How much energy does that give again?
It
Isn't
gives
it
10
20?
energy. Gives 10 energy to the entire team and 20 to the next person you swap in.
Yo,
Yeah, that goes back on the
alright.
Sons of Calydon team. That team is
And-
like unironically cracked.
When I tried it, so I tried it a lot, it did not really change the clear times too much. In between, like it didn't really matter too much how, like which ultimate you have been using, but it felt just so much better. This
Yeah.
30 energy for Piper just literally changes everything about her.
Yeah, because
and-
she's always like just awkwardly a bit short of energy to finish off the last
You have
wave,
to
right?
do like an extra hit or two.
Yeah, a
to-
few,
to
few
get to it.
basics, you know. Yeah. Okay, so Piper. Look, my only issue with Piper, the only reason I don't use Piper, is because Jane exists.
Yeah, same.
That's the only reason, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think she's I think tier 0.5 is fair. Yeah. Does anyone have anything else to say? I think Guoba, did you talk about Piper yet, or?
I loved her on the 1.0 beta, and I mained her for a bit on release. I think she's really good. Yeah. I
Great.
think she might fall off a bit, but
Yeah,
right now,
there's-
Yeah, she'll get
0.5.
gapped by new anomalies, but
One is pretty good.
Definitely solid
Yeah.
when you don't have them.
Yeah, there's too many cooks in the kitchen now with all the anomaly agents running around. I don't really know where you fit them anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely the anomaly meta right now. Okay,
Yeah.
so, all right, so Piper being in tier 0.5 for now, I think is reasonable. We can move on to the next character, who happens to be everyone's favorite voice-changing little gremlin, Sukaku. So, go. Okay, I'll start the poll. You guys can start talking about her if you want.
So, I think Sukaku is pretty interesting because, I mean, she gives the 1k attack, whatever, but in ice teams she is extremely good, just because of her low core and additional ability. I think what is extremely interesting for Sukaku right now, I personally would currently value her somewhere between tier 0.5 and tier 1, something in between. It's really hard for me to actually judge that, because I think the only team she's really good in is, well, the Ellen team, but she is the best in slot for that team, and she will get a massive boost the moment where we can actually use all ultimate, simply because her ultimate damage is really freaking
Yeah, she
crazy.
does fat ultimate damage. It takes mad field time though. Only thing
Yeah,
that-
sure, but I mean, if you literally kill everything in that time, like, whatever.
I
But
feel like we shouldn't go too deep into like what that will be though, because we don't even know what they're gonna do with the ultimates change.
Yeah,
Like they
I
could nerf
agree.
all ultimates. You know what I mean? Truth
Yeah,
be
that's
told,
fair.
like as an aside, I don't think they're gonna let the scalings of the ultimates be the way that they are if every ultimate can be used, or every character or every like boss is going to be marginally harder. Because if you can use Jane's ult and Burnice's ult
Yeah,
in
that's
the, like, at the same time, that is like this is gonna be like the easiest game in the world.
Yeah, that's
but-
insane, actually.
But I think
Yeah,
that if you could be I think 0.5 and tier 1, I think is fair for Sukaku. I do think she probably feels about as clunky as Rina, to be honest. Like, yeah, of course you could just slam down the flag and get the attack increase, and that's okay. But like that chain attack, like you could really like get up, do like 100 jumping jacks and come by the time it's done casting, which is, you know, it kind of sucks. But ultimately, I think what stinks the most about her is that when you want to use her for, like, let's say if you're using a DPS who has Starlight Engine, having to get the chain attack or having to line things up so that you get the quick, you know, like you activate Starlight Engine, means that Sukaku is gonna have to be used in like a little bit of like you're gonna have to change the way that you do your chain attacks. Otherwise, you're gonna waste your whole stun duration performing the flag. And that's like, you literally get maybe at most 3 or 4 seconds if you do Sukaku's chain attack to then be able to swap to another character and then do your damage. Like, it happened so many times to me where I was like, wow, my Ellen is doing very little damage. And then I realized that I'm doing like 4 hits under a stunned window with Ellen.
Yeah,
Because Sukaku just takes so long, you know?
Sukaku and Ellen's chain times are both long too, for that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the issue. Sukaku's biggest weakness is just field time, right?
Yeah.
That's really her main weakness, and it is kind of clunky. You have to like swap her on, do 2 EX specials, and before the chain in order to blah blah blah, right? You guys get the gist of it. So yeah, this is actually pretty crazy. This is the first poll that's been this split, like 41-40, and it keeps bouncing back and forth. So
I
maybe
think
the
literally
community-
the only reason she, like, a lot of people probably think she's tier 1 is just clunkiness to play, because her buffs are still insane. She has res shred and then she has a fat attack buff.
The red shred is only for ice though, and we only have Ellen right now.
Well,
Yeah.
you'd only use her in an ice team, so.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like you can't put her in tier 0 when Lucy can just go in.
Oh, I wouldn't say tier 0. I was saying 0.5
Yeah.
and 1.
I have
Yeah.
0.5 or 1 for me.
Yeah.
That's all of us is 0.5 or 1.
Yeah.
So I guess
Let's let the community decide. Like, let's
Yeah,
see
make
where
a
this let's see where this poll goes.
seems like it's 0.5. I think we can let it settle there. Well, I don't know. It's going back down again. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so Kaku's definitely on the fence. 0.5 or 1 is completely fair for her.
I would put her in tier 0.5 at the end. I think she's a bit worse than Piper, and only for the reason that she has basically only one team she really excels in currently.
Okay.
It is also M6, to be clear, as well. It is also M6, which does, like, it does actually contribute quite a bit damage-wise to your team.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's we can move
Soldier
on.
11.
I think this is good enough. So tier 0.5 for Sokaku from both us and the community. And not too shabby. Looks like the community tier list is starting to converge towards ours. It's looking very similar.
This is not a very hot takes
I
tier
know.
list.
Hang on,
Wait a
guys. We
second.
gotta mix it up. There we go. We'll leave Ben up there for now.
Thank you.
Finally.
There we go. Well, maybe we'll have to revisit.
But then we move Lycaon down to tier 3, right?
Oh.
Also tier 0.
Hey,
This
no,
guy
this is-
hates Lycaon.
yeah.
this guy. No, this isn't a haters tier list. This is a a lovers tier list here. Okay, we love Ben, so we're moving him up.
Bang.
All right. Okay. Soldier 11 is next.
I probably
So-
the hottest take on Soldier 11.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I
right.
think-
Gib is here to speak for Soldier 11.
I
propaganda.
genuinely think Soldier is 0.5.
Yo, 0.5 placement. Okay.
I don't think that's like a scalding take. To be honest, I
Not
thought you
as
were gonna
hot as
call her
Soldier.
tier 3 or tier 0.
Not as hot as Soldier.
No, I don't think
Solid
she could be
fire.
tier 0, but I think she's 0.5. She's gotten buffed literally like every patch, and
over and
then
over.
So
I
the
mean,
question is, was her bug patched?
was her back
Because-
patched?
Bug.
Bug.
Her-
Bug.
Oh,
she-
bug.
Not the insect kind of bug. So there's a problem with her basic 4. If you swap out, it doesn't do damage. So you cannot swap cancel it.
Oh, nice.
I have not seen that.
I actually didn't know
There-
that. Wow.
There was a Reddit thread about it. And
I'm
I
sure
think,
they'll patch it.
I'm not sure if that was patched or not, but that
I think
actually
they
is
probably
pretty
fixed it.
detrimental
Because
for
Lucy
her.
also had a bug before where her ult didn't do anything.
Wait, should I
Yeah.
just try it real quick? Yeah, I'll just try it real quick. I got Soldier right here. You guys can keep talking while I try this.
Alright,
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, Gib. Hot
no,
take
you're good. To,
aficionado.
I don't.
No, you have
Soldier,
to
I think.
start training,
Soldier, she has 100% uptime on her DPS. I think she feels fun to play. I think people that don't know how to time the fire suppression, if that's like your reason to hate her, I mean, just don't play the character. But if you're gonna like complain about it, I feel like it's a skill issue. Like I said, she's gotten buffed every patch. She will be getting buffed in the future as well as lighter, even though we're not keeping that in mind. And I don't know. She also is very beautiful. That's, you know, she's goat.
Okay, buddy. I mean, but the thing is, like, we're not, you know, like, again, I think if we're gonna make a tier list based off of like perfect play or something, it would look a little different. You know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, before doing damage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's fine. I have not
Yeah,
had
yeah.
any time to not do
Possible that
damage.
it was patched, yeah.
Yeah, see
I'm not
there.
sure.
Well, okay, the Bang Boo just murdered that thing. Let's do
I
it
will
one more
send you
time.
the Reddit thread because it was pretty
Oh, oops.
visible in there.
How recent was that Reddit thread,
There
though?
we go. Yeah, yeah.
1 or 2 weeks?
Weeks ago?
Or,
Oh, oops, that's B3. Oh, B3
yeah.
killed it. Yeah, no, the B4 is definitely doing damage from what I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think her being in tier 1 or 0.5 is okay. I think honestly the way that it felt leaning wise, all the standard characters low-key felt like they could all just be in tier 1, and then every limited that they've released is basically tier 0,
Yeah,
which makes
yeah.
sense. The 0.5s are really the characters that are already good and like don't even necessarily have their best pairings, like
here.
Nicole, you know, lycaon, stuff like that. That's where it feels, at least for me.
I sent it in, was 6
Okay.
days ago.
I see. Yeah.
It
Well,
showcases her
you
that
know.
much better.
I think it seems fine, you know, from what I've tried.
Yeah, it's like the second part, which doesn't do damage.
Oh, like it's missing a few ticks? Not
Yeah,
or...
you can open the Reddit thread. I think there's a video in there which shows
Okay.
cases that quite well.
Okay. Let me pop this open. Oh, sure. Alright, yep, looks good. And go back. So right here.
You can see it. There, it doesn't do damage.
Oh, I don't think that's a bug. I think they're switching off too early. Hoyo has it coded for when you swap off a character, you have to stay in their animation a certain amount of time before they can like be swap canceled off of it. I feel like that's what they're missing in that. I could be wrong though.
That's still
Interesting.
pretty
Okay.
bad, though, I think, because the before animation is pretty long, if that is the case.
Yeah,
I, don't, I
mean,
personally haven't had that problem, so I don't know.
look, I
This is
agree.
a bug anyway. Like it's not relevant to a tier list. I think.
True, that as well.
Yeah.
It's supposed to get. Yeah, it'll get fixed eventually.
Yeah, if it's a confirmed bug, right, then we can
Yeah.
expect them to fix it. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Anyway, I would put her tier 1, but I also have had the displeasure to play her for a little bit.
Displeasure.
I like Soldier personally. I think she's great, but so yeah, I mean, when it comes to dealing with fire weak teams and sides, like when you kind of look at the rest of the characters here, especially the other fellow DPS character Piper, Soldier doesn't really feel worse than Piper for fire weak teams or for fire weak chambers. I think she feels great for them. So
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with her being in tier 0.5 personally.
Big,
Community is close. It's pretty split. Yeah.
Big.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not like if you want to put her in 0.5 or tier 1, I think that's okay. Pretty much anything below tier 0 is probably fine. I think there's like a clear divide between
Tier
who's
3.
good, who's bad. Yeah, like
Tier 3. Oh man, tier 3
It's
soldier.
below
That's
tier
a hot
0,
take.
so...
Yeah. We fulfilled Kana's condition. Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Guoba, what's your call?
I feel like I'll be too biased because I was a soldier main for like my whole life until
I
Burnice
know.
came out. I think she's really good, and the fact that we don't have outstanding by DPS unless you're a Ben main DPS Giga Chad, then soldier is your only option.
Mhm.
So she'll definitely pull off when we get a. I mean,
Low,
I don't know,
crit
maybe you
burners?
yeah, maybe crit Burnice, but I think 0.5 because she just fills the.
Crit burners
niche.
literally shreds the entire HP bar in one stun
Yeah, it's
window.
kind of crazy. Whereas Neko, it makes sense being lower because there's so many physical DPS already, so her role is extremely saturated. But I think
Yeah.
Soldier 0.5 and 1, yeah. I'd say 1 even as a Soldier main, but 0.5 also works because she isn't like she's completely fine. Yeah. With Piper there, I think she can be 0.5 as well.
Okay.
Yeah, then let's go 0.5.
Yep. We'll deviate
Big.
slightly, but I think it's a fair placement, and seems like we're all okay
Big.
with it too. So, Gibbs, looks like your mission of
My mission
being
is
a-
successful.
your mission-
Soldier mains
mission complete.
rejoicing.
Okay, so Seth is next. Here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna start. I have one take on Seth, and the question I personally ask myself is, now that we have Burnice and Caesar, especially Caesar, why would I play Seth?
True.
That's basically
Okay.
just my take. It's not that Seth is necessarily bad. I feel like, for me personally, he feels a bit clunky, but again, that's subjective. But I mean, if I have Caesar, I would just play Caesar instead of Seth, and literally slot any other character in. But so I would.
I'd put him
probably
in
put him
tier 1
2.
just because he gives anomaly buffs, and like we still don't have like a lot of people doing that, but he is definitely replaceable by the newer characters 100%.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of in like the exact same spot. I don't know. There's something special about not having to be on field with the character, especially when you want to play hyper carry-esque characters, and that's kind of what we've gotten. But I do think that he is a little bit worse off because I don't think you would ever use him over Lucy. And like if you're trying to play him, or if you're trying to play like a disorder team, there's just like, why would you ever use him over the free character Lucy? Like it just doesn't really feel like there's a good reason for it. That being said, I think when like prior to Burnice being released, like people running Lucy and Seth together, that was a very nice feeling team. Like you throw out, like you use your E on Lucy, or you'd use your E whenever you get like, or you'd get out your chain attack and give the attack increase to the team. And Jane was on field 24/7. That was amazing. And I mean, there really isn't any other team that you could, that you would probably feel nearly as good about. I think maybe arguably you'd get a little bit more value, or no, I can't even think of a team. I think he was supposed to be made with Jane, and it makes sense because they were together, you know, the whole relationship thing in the story. But after they're, you know, after or now that Jane has better partners, that's it. Like
I will
Seth
say-
is, you know, poor Seth.
A lot of people won't pull for Jane, Caesar, and Burnice, right?
Yeah.
Which gives a lot of value for Seth if you just pulled for Jane as one of Jane's best, like kind of hyper carry Jane playstyles, right? Because you only need to invest into one anomaly character, in this case Jane, and Seth will absolutely shine. There's
Yeah.
not going to be any physical thing you fight that the pair of them aren't just going to completely trash, right? So, for me, Seth, yeah, I mean, he feels fine, but like you said, is he the best character in like for Jane? Not with, you know, disorder, but a ton of people won't have Jane plus Burnice. A ton of people won't have Jane plus Caesar plus Burnice, right? So for that value, you know, I think he's okay, and he can be used with any anomaly character that you really just want to focus on their damage. Like, there's no reason you can't use him with Piper. There's no reason you can't use him with Burnice if you want to focus on burn damage. So yeah, I feel okay with him. I think he's decent.
Yeah, I don't think he's like tier 2 or tier 3 or anything. Cool character.
Yeah, low field time unless, well, you use his chain attack or something. But
If you on field Seth, I think he feels a little.
oh, he's
Crazy.
atrocious. He's
Dude,
atrocious.
is that a
he-
challenge?
Okay. Oh well, you know.
Gosh. His shield gives himself 100 anomaly proficiency, right?
It's whoever it's on. Yeah, whoever has the shield on.
He gets a shield for himself too, right? I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like whoever you
Shock
swap to
Seth.
prior.
Let's go, Shock Seth.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you were to DPS Seth and you had C6, you would probably go in crit build because he has like the guaranteed crit at C6.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, the crit damage is C6. Okay, so are we fine with tier 1 then for him?
I'm
that
valid
reasonable?
of tier 1.
Yeah, definitely at least tier 1. He's got niche buffs that no one else has right now.
Okay.
Undiluted too.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Okay, so now we're starting to get to the point where they can't actually see all the characters here. So I'm gonna put this awkwardly right here. There you go. A little awkward, but all right. So Seth is done. Up next, I guess we went out of order actually, but that's okay. So Chingy
I
is
think we
next.
went by faction. I think is what
Chingy.
it's looking like.
I mean, we can just take the next 5 characters and all put them in tier 0, no?
That's
Kind of
actually
true.
true.
Kind
Yeah.
of true.
Yeah.
We can literally cut this short. I don't think there's anybody disagreeing about this.
Yeah. Let's give the community a voice, and
Hold on,
we
behind
can't
Ben
vote
I
though,
wonder
right?
what they'll vote.
Behind Ben,
Clueless.
we have to like, you know what I mean? Like we gotta.
behind Ben.
Behind Ben Bigger. He's
Yeah,
so
he-
big,
he-
he's taking up the whole slot.
Mhm.
There we go. Yeah, we should add a tier above it. Big tier.
Big.
Just the biggest tier, and it's Ben. See, like Ben is so crazy that they did not want to implement the ability to use characters in the overworld because of Ben.
True.
It's like if Jack's got a real weapon, like what's exactly what are you suggesting
Not
about
fit in
Ben?
doorways. This man.
Oh, well, they really should bend over backwards for him and make him controllable.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Pause.
Ah, dude, you too, Guoba. Oh god. Oh god.
Okay, Chingy, does anyone have like anything insightful, like, or any slightly different take? Anyone think she's on the cusp of T0 0.5? I don't. Before I get canceled here, I think she's tier 0. But anyone else have any hot takes or any takes at all for that matter?
I think her like biggest weakness from like what people keep mentioning is how slow she stuns. But that is like so overshadowed by how much stun damage she gives your team.
Yeah.
It's like crazy, honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's. Oh, sorry, Ben. Okay, there we go.
Oh, yes. Correct.
Oh man, yeah. I guess the this part of the tier list is going to be pretty uninteresting, funnily enough. So M0 Zuyuan, tier placement. I'm sorry, for Cake alone, she also deserves to be in the big tier.
Yup.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Okay. T0, T2.3. I don't even know why I add those other options, but we'll humor it.
If you want to make this section interesting, we should rate the tier 0 characters within the tier.
Rank them. Okay.
There
There we go.
Oh, yeah, that's how we set it on fire.
Content
Then
gold
let's-
mine.
Then let's move all of them first up into tier 0 before we start ranking them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we could do that, we could do
Communities
that.
also, yeah. So I'm gonna add just a real quick parentheses for the community tier list because they can't really order it here. So we're gonna do unordered for them, but we're gonna order ours at the end. For tier
Alright.
0. Okay. Well, let's just make sure that the community is on board with all these characters in T0. I'm almost 100% sure, but even if you know how the vote's gonna end up, we still gotta do it, right? So M0. So you guys can start. You guys can start arguing if you want. Jane.
Top of tier 0 is Jane and Burnice. Thoughts?
I wanna, dude. I don't know. Okay, because dude, Jun is kind of the.
Jun is the
Jun's
goat. She's the goat.
She is the goat, and it's not. It's for attack.
Yeah, the thing
characters,
with
it really is
the
not
thing with
close.
organizing them is like, I don't even think that there's like that big of a gap between obviously the sorter goes crazy right now. It's got the buffs and everything catered to it, but like Jun is she's still popping off.
I actually would agree with the exact ranking we have right now, except I would swap Chingy and Sujuan, and I would put Lucy behind Chingy. I think Burnice and Caesar both have more value than Jane.
Yeah, that's true. Jane's on field, and then Burnice has more longevity, and Caesar is literally just.
So Caesar is basically an instant win for any account.
Yep.
Burnice has the great advantage that you can, play her in any mono fire team. You can play her as off-field in any anomaly team. So she has a lot of teams she slots into. She also even is great for somebody like Corrin, because Corrin, doesn't really have too many great teams, to be fair. So a team like Corrin, Caesar, Burnice works somewhat well.
Yeah.
Then Jane itself is fantastic. However, she is like a DPS, It's like, it doesn't matter if you have Jane or if you have Sujuan or if you have Ellen outside of the element itself. She does not do too much for your account itself, and with other anomaly units coming in the future, you have many other disorder anomaly options you can also play.
I know we said we didn't want to talk about it for the future, but it's actually a little bit tough to, I think, give like a fair, accurate rating of the characters without looking a little bit into what's officially obviously already been like announced and shown. Because because I think if we're just taking it in the state of the game, Jane is like, I actually kind of disagree. I feel like if you have Jane on your account, everything becomes 1,000 times easier. Like,
that is also true.
obviously
Jane she just deletes everything.
Like if you fight any of the shadows, Jane instantly makes them like way easier. Have you guys, like, just out of curiosity, have you guys tried killing some of the shadows with like some of the weaker anomaly characters or even Jun and stuff? It's not impossible.
I beat everything with Soldier.
But you know what I mean? It feels like, I don't know. I feel that Jane trivializes those in the same way that she trivialized Razor. Like, do you guys remember when Razor first came out? Everyone's like, "Yo, this guy."
Razor?
Hurts. Like, yeah, so, the brute
wasn't
from
built
the
for her,
student.
Oh, bro, I was thinking of Genshin, bro. I was like, what?
No. But the boss was pretty rough. And then you're right, guoba. Like, it was built for her. But any character that kind of hits a lot, I think Jane.
I think Jane has one. So do we look at them in a singularity or within a team context? Because I think that's somewhat important. So, for example, Burnice or even Caesar, they literally can press one button and delete the entire thrash mobs at once. And Burnice especially can also group the enemies extremely easily, as Caesar can.
Wait, did
However,
I spell
Jane cannot clear the thrash mobs itself.
Okay.
The only thing is you do need to group enemies. So basically, for Jane to instantly clear the trash mobs, what you need is a stunner, so that you can unleash her chain attack. Because that shit instantly clears all trash mobs, and I think that is the biggest weakness Jane has. Her AoE sucks ass without a stunner.
That's true, yeah. It's pretty rough when you don't stun something, but if you do stun something, well, they just all die.
Yeah, she just clears out the whole map.
Yeah, they just all die. Okay, so I was a bit distracted, just making sure that the community, did want to put all of them in tier 0, which they all overwhelmingly did. Surprisingly, from what I noticed, I think Burnice had perhaps the lowest amount of people that agreed for her to tier 0. I think it was 83 to 17%, which gives you an idea. Zhu Yuan was 96 to 4, if I recall correctly. So yeah, just interesting to see like the number of people that thought.
I think it's just based off of like feeling too,
Yeah.
Burnice, I don't think Burnice is hard to play or anything, but Zhu Yuan is literally, okay, they're stunned, time to use every single bullet.
Yeah.
And then, like, that's
And they're
so
dead.
straightforward. Yeah, like, you
Yeah.
can do it on mobile, you can do it on controller, you can do it while you're sleeping, really, to be honest. But,
You have
I
not
think
seen
that's why.
my Zujuan yet, I think.
Oh my God.
Dude, are you? Riven is probably like using her basic attacks.
Oh fuck, I'm not supposed to
Plunging
do
and
that.
kicking.
Okay.
The kicks aren't ether? What the, like, oh my God.
Oh man, get
Oh
a
wait, she
refund.
does ether damage.
But yeah, okay. So, I guess the discussion you guys were talking about, like universality, right? Like kind of valuing that a bit. My opinion, I think Caesar and Qingyi are probably the two most universal, right? Because like the others are damage dealers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
For
move
sure.
down all the damage dealers basically. I would put Caesar at spot 1, Qingyi at spot 2. Afterwards, honestly, Burnice and Lucy, and Jane, Sujuan, and Ellen are all.
Yeah.
my
Okay,
opinion.
I see. Okay, so that's Rivenus's, although you've been miscounting them all because you forgot about Ben. So
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Oh, no.
okay,
Don't
we'll
see a
forgive you
ban.
for that one. We'll forgive you for that one.
I want to point that out.
Yeah,
there.
minor mistake.
I think to be fair though, like I think a lot of the characters in tier 0 will, or like the placement of the tier 0 will really shift just based on like what's strong or what they put in the shield.
Yeah,
Like
fair enough.
that's ultimately what it comes down to. Like, of course, Burnice is gonna beat, Zhu Yuan or Ellen if she has the weakness for the weak, or if they, they skew it towards anomaly. But I do think that Caesar should almost in every single case be number 1 because she is the definition of Zhongli imported into ZENLESS Zone 0. Like,
True.
she really is that crazy.
Also,
And a lot of
side
people
note.
skip
oh,
her
never-
too, which is crazy, by the way. But
Oh, I was gonna say, I see a bunch of people in Island Losers chat saying Burnice is Kafka. I don't even see any correlation between those characters.
They're probably
Damage
talking
over
about how
time.
she will fall off, but I disagree.
That also makes no sense because if you put it into a Starro sense, Dot hasn't gotten buffed since it's come out, besides Black Swan coming out, and that was like a year later. Anomaly, they've literally just kept catering to it, like patch after patch after patch. I don't think it's
and
like
the next. To be fair, there's one. I mean, in Star Rail you have that as well, but let's be honest, they literally could make every single enemy mandrakes, and then, well, none of these characters matter anymore, except for Burnice, because you can literally play Burnice crit and clear very comfortably.
I think Ellen can trash him too, right?
I mean, yeah, sure. I'm just talking about the anomaly characters.
Oh, right, yeah, the
So,
crit-based ones.
If they make an enemy which is literally immune against all kind of anomalies,
Well, they have that right now. It's that little tower thing that spins and it gives
Yeah,
buffs
the
to the
mandrakes.
The
four.
mandrakes.
the mandrakes. That's what I said. If every
Yeah,
single
yeah.
enemy would just be mandrakes, Jane literally does not exist anymore.
True.
And the
Yeah,
thing being, like, Burnice would not exist if you built her AP, but again, with the crit build, you can do that. Technically, it's not as good for this
Okay,
specific
so your
purpose.
argument is that because Burnice can survive outside of an anomaly meta, you think she's better than the other DPS characters here, right? That's your argument.
Basically.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a fine viewpoint to have.
I think that's really I have no idea how Burnice, or I think it's hard to say for future proofing for these characters because
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure in 1.0 none of us thought that they would release, like, oh guys, this is how anomaly works. Anomaly is anomaly, and like you can do disorder. And the next patch they're like, wait a second, this anomaly can crit, and you're like, wait a second, no one else can do that.
Yeah,
And then
sure.
the patch after that, wait a second, anomaly can only be applied on field, but now anomaly can be applied when off field. What the, who knows? I think, the DPS should be where they are though. I agree. They're probably below the utility, but that's, what's the meme name, the Honkai support rail or whatever. That's probably the same for ZENLESS, Yeah, like it's probably ZENLESS zone supports. They're all great and they're all amazing, honestly. But we'll see what ends up releasing.
And one thing I like about ZENLESS Zone Zero is that it's reasonable to just like brute force through, not like resisted enemies, but just neutral enemies, right? Like if you have a well-built Julian, she'll still take out non-ether weak floors perfectly well, perfectly reasonable well, at least with today's content, right? Like 3-4 years down the road may not be the case, but yeah. So to me, like that's why I actually I don't feel too strongly about like putting like any of these characters specifically within the tier, right? I think like these characters can all, well, maybe not Lucy, I don't know, like carry your entire account, but the rest of them, they can and will carry your account for sure.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be able to clear so much stuff because now you have Caesar, right? Now you have Jane, now you have Julianne, or even Ellen to an extent. Well, Ellen's perhaps on the threshold, but yeah.
From the experiences I've seen on like, or speaking to players that were like struggling too, when you get one of these tier 0 characters too, you aren't even like clearing, or the help that it provides to your account is not like, oh, now you just barely got an S or something, or you didn't just like barely clear a piece of content. You cleared in like a minute and you have like 6 minutes total to get S rank.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. And again, that's why I think it's a little funny when people calculate damage for a ZENLESS, because it's like, yeah, she does 100,000 damage and Jane does 110, and like the health pool is like 5,000. It's like, whoa, that's amazing. Let's get it.
Crit burnice, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Like anything works if you put enough time into it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have 20-second Billy clears, 20-second Ben clears, 20-second Anton clears, right? Like, that's why those exist, is because you can push the damage threshold to actually reach these clear times. Yeah, so when it comes to the only thing I would change in the order is obviously above Ellen. That's it. I scoot her down below these characters because even if you have Lucy, like I said, like you're not going to start dumpstering the content, right?
True.
But with like these other ones up here, you will start to dumpster the content.
You have not seen main DPS, Lucy.
That takes I feel like it takes a lot.
That takes some dedication. Yeah, you need to
It
max.
takes a lot of investment.
You need to max her out pretty much.
You also can dumpster all of the content.
Yeah,
so
Chingy, is that what you said? Yeah. Yeah.
I think Lucy is great because you can build her full damage and she works. You can build her as a support and she works. Like, you literally can basically slap anything on her and she will perform fine. And I think that just makes her way better of an investment. And I don't think she's ever a bad investment, which is why I put her above the DPS characters.
Someone asked why like we have Ellen as so low, and I think it's just because a lot of teams feel way more usable regardless of what or the other limited DPS I should say feel way better even if you have like substitutions in certain slots. But Ellen without like really the ice shred and really like the team that she synergizes best with, I feel like performs way worse. Like even if you're
she's
using
literally one team.
Jane Disorder is still going to perform relatively well compared to like Jane Hypercarry, and Burnice like on as a disorder unit in any way that you use her is going to perform really well. Whereas like again, if I don't know if you guys have tried this, but like when I tried one viewer's account, I off of a Shiyu Ice moment, I did Ellen, Lucy, and Rina, and that was maybe like the worst feeling team that I've ever seen in my entire life.
It sounds painful.
That was
sounds
like
terrible.
and I think that's why she's so low. Whereas like I think honestly Chingyi, you get the stun off, dude, it's gone. Like the monster's gone. Like that's just the truth. Because of again how like her scaling works. But
Guoba, you should say something too.
Okay, well, I think Ben first is great. I then choose Caesar. I kind of prefer Burnice over Qingyi, but that might be recency bias with all the
No, that's
shilling.
fine. We can keep that.
Okay, buddy.
I think Qingyi, I mean, they keep shilling anomaly, which is why Burnice kind of just, I think she's just so strong right now, but If you need a stunner, Chingy, Jesus Christ. And then yeah, Jane G1 I would put over Lucy as well because yeah, they're just insane DPS for your account.
Yeah.
I'll take.
Ellen, I think she will. She just has that one team. It's her problem. I think she's gonna. She definitely has the potential to rise up. I mean, Zhu Wen, they released her with Xingyi right after. And then Anomaly got Jane, then Burnice, and is it Yanagi? She Anomaly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just keep on shilling Anomaly, and the enemies are also shilling Anomaly. So I think Ellen can definitely, when she gets her limited team, she's right now rocking A rank and an S rank standard character. So that's why I'd put her at the bottom. But she's still great DPS. It's just very.
She is
restricted on the
definitely
team.
pumping up next patch.
So do you think Lucy's above Ellen? Well,
I think Ellen could carry your account more because she
Fair enough.
is a limited DPS. But if I ranked from like how strong it would be for like a team, or for your cat, I don't know.
That's a good
Lucy
point.
just has many more options, but unless you spend your whole life farming like Rivenus, then she can't carry a side like Ellen can.
What do you mean? I
Yeah.
only spent like 2 months of not trail-based power. The fuck? What's this thing called here? Battery.
The battery.
I only spent 2 months
yeah.
worth of
Only 2
battery.
months.
What do you mean? Basically zero investment.
Do we
that's
agree on
pretty
the
good.
rest of the tier list? Because that's our tier 0,
yeah.
and I think there's like a.
That was what I was interested in. Is there
Mm.
anything you disagree generally about the tier list, Guoba? Because you have not been here for like half of the tier list.
It looks pretty good. I have not had the experience with Anton, but why do you guys hate him? He just bad
It's
team.
just somebody needs to be a T3.
That's true.
Okay.
And
Now
it
we
can't- it
move
can't be
Ben
Ben.
out of that.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna say, when did we leave Anton in tier 3 by himself? And remember who we moved to tier
Just snuck him
0?
in there.
I think Nekko's problem is Soldier versus Nekko debate is like Soldier got a lot of units that work really well with her, and
Yeah.
Nekko hasn't. I definitely think she can. I feel like the gap will be narrowed down a bit when they release a bit more support for her side.
Yeah.
I feel like Nekko's
Uh,
also just gapped because Jane exists.
Yeah, exactly. It's just,
Yeah. It
bad,
feels
like-
really bad when you see someone literally replace you in real time. Like it does feel quite bad. You're like,
like Seth when he saw Caesar, he's like,
you guys know when when a new character comes out, like, hey guys, I got Jane, and it's like someone puts like cat or like, you know, the head of Jane over like Nekko or something. Like that's really what it feels like when you have to play a character like that. I also honestly I feel like Nekko having, I guess it's like Nekko's best team having Piper right now, like, is probably the team that I think feels the best with her, but I also don't even know how many people want to play like those two together, because like I feel like
It's
if you use
awkward, yeah.
Piper, you'd want to just okay,
Put in
let's do
disorder.
Piper and Vernice, like woo, yay, or like Piper Grace, whatever, you know. Yeah, the curse of Nekko and curse of other name for the standard banner also feels pretty bad, to be honest. Curse of Rina, curse of Nekko, curse of Koleda.
yeah. I think Guoba, the main point he brought up was Anton. I mean, for that matter, like, do we think Anton is this bad? I mean, I feel like
I don't think he is. I
I don't think there's
Yeah,
that big of a
I think
gap,
Guoba-
but I also don't think it matters.
yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's just
fair enough.
I mean, we can just put them in tier 2 and remove tier 3 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, again, the difference between like bottom of tier 3, top of tier 3, bottom of tier 2, like, is not that big. I think a lot of the characters in tier 2 you can almost argue being in tier 2 or tier 3 as well. So I don't think it would be that big a deal. Again, I think it looks really goofy because, I mean, if you take a look at the community tier list, I think it feels a little bit more fleshed out.
Okay, I
You
know
know?
why. I know why it looks goofy.
Ben Figure.
But,
It
We
is
gotta
what it is.
do it.
but you would never do that to Guoba, would you? I want to lose.
Do
You
it,
wouldn't.
do it.
man.
Take his life.
All right, no, if we can only choose one bear, we'll have to choose Guoba to save. So, Ben, down you go. Down you go.
Adios.
Oh, seven.
Mhm.
Sorry, Ben. Okay. Okay. So, does it look a little better now, Connor?
Yeah. Yeah, it feels. I mean, again, if you want to put other characters in tier 3, like I think that's also fair too. I don't think it's that tier 3 is incorrect. I think it's that the characters in tier 3 being by themselves feels a bit wrong.
Yeah.
Is if I had to guess from like what Guoba was suggesting. Like Anton all by himself, he's the worst character in the game. Like I don't know if I
Bro,
agree.
that's not cool, man. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have any issues with it? Rivenus, I know you want Koleda and
I think koleda is well on the same level as the tier 0.5 characters, just for a different reason.
okay.
Well, what's the reason?
The fact that she's hyper flexible while also providing the fastest stun application in the game. However, she does not have the same utility or the same. So basically, she's way more of a generalist than, for example, lycaon, who is well
Yeah.
basically locked into ice teams. And I think both of that has a lot of value, but for like different matters.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, if you play her in like the dodge counter thing, or if you do that quick swap thing you're talking about where you honestly, I have not done the whole like while she's in the air, I rotate through every single character while she's flying. But I could see how that's like a good or like a more appropriate way for her to gain value. But I think every time that I hear someone talk about Koleda, it's like, yeah, she's good, but, or like, yeah,
Okay.
like she does it, but.
Here's one argument I do have against Koleda, not to like hate on Koleda, but Koleda is a bit more enemy dependent in comparison to, for example, Qingyi, right?
That is true.
And it's because like she's much more reliant on her dodge counter. Enemies that just don't attack as much, Koleda is going to stun not nearly as fast, especially without her M1. So yeah, I mean, when the enemy starts like trying to punch your face, oh my god, that enemy is not going to be able to
He's
even.
not gonna live.
Yeah, he's just going to be stunned in like 2 seconds, right? Okay, maybe like 8 seconds or whatever, but you get my point. So, well, actually, yeah, sometimes it is 2 seconds, right, Rivenus? Like with the M1 E into dodge counter E, they're
M2.
toast.
It's the M2.
Oh,
Her
it's M2. Sorry.
Her
Oh,
M1
yeah.
is unfortunately pretty shitty.
Oh, geez, yeah.
um,
M2 is the one that gives energy, then, right?
Isn't her M1 extra
M1
impact?
M1 is
Sorry.
M1
Okay.
is 15% more days on her EX explosion, I think only, if I remember correctly. But
Yeah.
Overall, because she already gains a lot of days built up, it basically is like
Oh,
an
yeah.
increase of about 3%.
Oh yeah, it's M2. I thought it was M1 because it's placed where M2 usually is. Or
Her
sorry,
M2 is
yeah.
completely broken.
M2 is placed where M1 usually is in the top left. So that's okay. Yeah, brain fried. That's that explains why I thought it was M2 or M1. Her M2 was M1. Okay. Anyway. All right. So yeah, I guess if we're not going to move her, then we can just kind of move on from Koleda. Yeah. Does that mean we're done, everyone?
I
Or-
think we
Are
are
the-
chilling.
Are the rows ordered like to 0.5, 1, 2?
No.
Well, I guess we should while we're at it.
Okay.
Because yeah, I think Seth should. I don't know. Actually,
Oh,
I don't know. Never mind. I think Seth's happy there.
It might be like another hour if we do
Yeah.
0.5 through 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
fine
mean,
for
the
them.
order doesn't look egregious to me when I
Yeah.
just look at it, right?
Again, I think it's kind of the same thing as tier 0. Like, except the supports might differ a little bit, but it kind of depends on like what you're fighting. Like, I don't think Nicole becomes like if you're doing disputed node, I don't think you know certain characters will feel, or rather, I guess we're just doing the critical Shiyu. Like some of the fights will just obviously be leaning towards the anomaly characters or like the crit characters, and they
Yeah.
change it so often too. So. Maybe so there. I saw a few people say that Sukaku is not above Koleda. I don't know if you guys agree with that. That again, to be clear, just the messenger. That was a
I mean,
a chatter
I
message.
agree.
So Kaku was pretty split with the community. It was
I
like
don't like Tsukaku.
42-41.
My only thing that keeps Sokaku in 0.5 is she's like the only ice support character. That's like literally it. I think the second another ice character supporting comes out, like she drops.
Yeah.
And you can use other characters over
Yeah, there's other
Sokaku.
characters you can use.
Yeah, you can use Caesar to stun a lot faster for similar buffs, right? You can use like Lucy, I guess, too, right? Probably. I mean, why not?
I would
right?
put her around Rina level or lower.
No?
To her point too, she literally doesn't synergize with anyone but Ellen. So if we're talking about
Yeah.
flexibility, like she is the only person
Yeah.
in her faction. She's only with ice. So if she's
True.
not pairing with Ellen, it's Lycaon, which is okay. That's not really doing anything different. So you're not even really making use of her additional ability, which also doesn't even make sense for anyone but ice. So it's like, okay, she's there for the 1,000 attack, and that's okay.
And I shred it.
But yeah, you know, like if we're valuing flexibility and versatility as we have with characters like Lucy and like Nicole, Sokaku technically is just 1,000 attack, and that's okay. But I think that's what we have to assess it off of.
People are bringing up that M6 Sokaku can be your ice DPS too. That's
Yeah, a
actually
lot of
true.
people
Yeah,
like
there's a
M6
thing.
as DPS.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's actually true. So, you know, in a way that actually makes her ironically a bit more flexible. Like you guys are 100% right. On the support side, yeah, no, don't use her on anything but Ellen, right? But the fact that she can be a DPS at M6 and you didn't pull Ellen and the chamber's ice weak and you've built
pretty
Sokaku
good.
and invested, then yeah, she's pretty solid. So, okay, I'm actually, that actually convinced me to leave her in tier 0.5.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, fair enough. But honestly, if we're bringing up all of the flexibility and universal kind of stuff, why is Lycaon still there?
Well, Lycaon is just so good at his niche that it elevates him up to here. That's my opinion.
I mean, yeah, but then I would at least put him below Piper.
Oh, like change the order of it.
Yes, because
okay.
you literally cannot use him outside of.
Well,
I
you
mean,
can
you
use him with
can,
Sokaku.
I mean,
M6
true.
Sokaku, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah. I guess now Sokaku doubles. That's kind of funny if you think about it, because we have DPS Sokaku on the same tier as Soldier 11. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Well, we're
obviously,
also
who's
keeping
better?
her supporting in mind as well.
Yeah. I know. It's just funny seeing her so close
Right.
to the others.
Okay, does anyone else think we should move Lycaon? I personally think I like where Lycaon is, but you guys can, you know, decide.
I feel like if you're the best at something, like no matter what you're the best at, I feel like you deserve to be in 0.5.
The best
Like
at
the best-
something valuable, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
Anton's-
best at giving crit rate.
Okay. Okay.
Anton's like the best at being a bro, right? But, you know,
exactly.
You're right.
Come on.
Dude, forget it. Everyone in tier 0. Let's get it.
yeah, they're all the best. Okay, so if no one has any issues with the order in tier 0.5, we can try to order tier 1. Tier 1, I will at least give Rivenus this. I'm gonna scoot Koleda at least up 1 spot. So we're gonna
Hell yeah.
see if
Small win.
we're gonna see if we can bring her all the way up based on the discussion here.
I mean, there's not much for tier 1 now. I would put
Yeah,
her
I
above
think that,
Seth, but like
honestly-
that's about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks pretty good. Do you guys like or hate Rina enough to put her above or below Grace?
No.
Do you think she's in the center?
The two are just like holding hands anyway, but you know,
It's true.
I think Rena's better than Grace personally, just because
She
you
is
can
also a
use-
support too.
Yeah,
Yes,
you can
more
use her on
versatility.
more
Yeah,
stuff,
great.
right?
Mhm.
Whereas like if you use Grace on anything besides Electric Weak, it actually just feels painful for me. Like, I just like, what am I doing? You know? Oh man. So I'm fine moving. Oh yeah, sorry. Actually, Grace is already at the bottom of tier 1. So what am I talking about? Yeah, this is fine to me.
Yeah, I think this looks okay. I guess. Yeah, they're all just basically supports outside of Grace. So the order of it probably just depends on how much you value, or like depends on the team that you are trying to build.
Yeah.
Like Seth is obviously not going to do anything for you if you're playing like crits, but koleda is, right? And same thing with Rina. Like if you're trying to play with Anton, or you're trying to play, I guess, with some sort of pen anomaly, sounds like Rina's going to be fine too. That's honestly like where I struggle a little bit with Rina. I can't imagine what her perfect, like, best scenario is. Like, it
When
feels
power
good
creep
to play
hits
her.
and there's like 1,000 defense Thanatos.
Yeah, when a character has like 5,000 defense, they have like a defense buff on their head or something.
Yeah. And then we get a real pen ratio set that's for supports, right?
Oh yes, yes,
True.
yes.
We get a pen ratio support set. That'd be pretty crazy. Or pretty good
Walking
for-
gives you 60% defense pen.
Let's
Perfect.
go. Walking. Wait, can you walk in this game? Like you can only
No,
run.
oh god, wait, no, wait. That would actually sound so miserable to play. You have to
Zero
stop your
downtime.
movement. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just have to.
you have to start
sacrifice your
shimmying.
combat for 60% def. That's a good trade.
Amazing. Amazing.
She's like a turret. She's stationary. Like you can't move, but you gain pen.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Okay.
think tier
We're
1 looks
fine
fine.
with this. Okay. Yeah. All right. Tier 2. All right. I'm a Billy shill just because he saves me so much time in my life. Like maybe 30 seconds a day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
Yeah.
valid. Put him at the
Yeah,
top. Put him
it's-
at the top.
At the top. Let's go.
It's funny because again, like the same way that we kind of put I feel like we put the supports in tier 1, the DPS are kind of the same.
Yeah.
You know, depending on who you're feeling in the day is probably where the performance changes or shifts. I don't think, like seriously, I don't think I've ever seen a clear from any one of these characters be like, whoa, like Billy, you know, smokes Corrin and Nekomata in new Shiyu 17 clear. You know, yeah, they're about the same. If you invest in them, they do well. The only thing is that maybe you would consider like knocking some points off for Nekomata is that she's like a standard 5-star character, and you'd maybe want to be more happy when you pull for a 5-star character. But Billy and Corrin, actually, is Corrin free?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
She's
if
like
Corrin is
the pre-registration thing,
free. Oh, is she the
Oh.
pre-reg? Yeah. So
which
then,
they give to everyone.
If you have the 2 A ranks, I think you're fine. Anby, I think, also just belongs there. She's fine.
I think Anby actually should probably be at the top of tier 2 now that I'm thinking about it a bit more.
Because she's a support.
Yeah,
more
and she's
supporter.
a stunner, right? She just stuns a little bit slower than koleda, who's an entire. And to me, like, you know, when I use Anby or koleda, I just feel like I'm not gonna S rank it because now I'm using koleda over Anby. So, at least that's how what
That's
I
valid.
kind of noticed. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I would
think
just put
that's
her
okay.
here. Yeah, at the top. Because a lot of people also didn't get koleda. Like, look, Rivenus just got koleda. And then a lot of people definitely didn't pull Qingyi. And I guess the next closest thing is lycaon and Caesar. And frankly, on a non-ice team, I mean, arguably, Amby's even better. In some
Amby's
situations.
definitely better if there's not ice. I'm definitely
Yeah,
just
I
choosing
mean-
Amby.
Yeah, she stuns faster overall, right? Than lycaon.
Yeah.
Yeah, lycaon is the stun damage multiplier though, which is nice, but
You have to fulfill the.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's actually the only real adjustment I do is move Amby to the top 2.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
I think it's
Okay.
locked in.
All right, and tier 3, we can let Ben have this win though.
Ben on top of it.
Fucking go, man.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess that's it, right? Are we done? Are we happy with these tier lists? Do we dare
but-
to ask the community what they think about our
Yeah.
tier list?
No one we have. No one can be perfect. Uh-oh.
There we go.
See what they think. See what they think.
Oh, they're.
Do you make
listing
a
after
tier
that.
list? Oh, but
Tier
Yeah, that-
list of our tier list versus their tier list.
Tier list.
let me vote.
Exactly. Ben tier. Oh
Someone
God.
insta voted.
Ben tier.
That would be me.
Oh, Ben
I
is
feel
stealing
like-
all the votes.
I feel like the bend here is a bit
When I do
Hogging
like
the
a troll
spotlight.
option in my community polls,
Yeah,
they
you always
select
yoinks.
troll
they
option,
pick the troll option, yeah.
man. They get me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, guys. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah, I guess if you guys want to give one quick shout out, plug for your stuff, feel free to as we wrap this stream up.
I don't know. I'm Gib. YouTube at Gib. Twitch at Gib. Stream like almost every day, playing all the games. And yeah, thank you for inviting me to join in on this tier list.
No, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. Sounds like if you want some regular cadence Zenless Zone Zero content, you got Gibbs to choose from. Me, I don't upload too regularly for any specific game, so I'm sorry, but yeah.
You're the
looks like we
goat. You
got-
cover everything. You're like the
Yeah.
Mr. Gotcha.
Oh my god! Oh my goodness! Looking back on my life, I never would have expected this, but here I am, a gotcha-holic. So. Oh man. Okay, so next person, I guess, Kana, you want to talk about yourself a bit?
Sorry for my scalding on the stove takes where I had them, but this is supposed to be a hot takes tier list. I do a bunch of Zenless content. I used to stream pretty regularly, and then I started doing a bit more looking into some of the Zenless stuff. Been writing up guides for stuff also. I definitely primarily focus on YouTube content, but yeah, you can find me on Twitch if you would like, and also on YouTube for any Zenless related stuff. Promise my normal content is not nearly as this ridiculous. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
No, of course. Thanks for joining us. And I guess Rivenis or Guoba, when you guys want to go?
I'm good, thanks.
That's I am Rivenis.
the goat. The guide guy.
I'm Mr. Goober. I've got the HSR channel, Goober certified. All I do is guides pretty much. And then I have my alter ego uncertified for the ZZZ. Just pretty much guides every day. Not actually every day. I'm very slow on Zenless because I'm not
You
good at
hate
keeping up with.
Just
I
say
love
you hate it.
Zenless.
Just say you hate
So
it.
much stuff to do in Honkai Star Rail. So don't expect lots of Zenless stuff from me, but yeah, I make guides. If you want a regular banger guides though, I am Rivenous has a lot of those, so I'd go to him.
True.
Yeah, so I'm
And Kana,
Rivenis,
of course.
Guoba. These guys are insane with their math. Like, their spreadsheets are out of this world. So they do some crazy math stuff. If you guys like math and people who explain math really well, those are your guys. I try too, but yeah.
I don't think yours are too far off as well. So
That's
Dude,
good enough for me.
Dude, I Win to Lose is the best content creator with the name Win and Lose both in his name. Like,
Oh,
Holy
I
yeah.
win.
It's a special
Right
Too,
one.
too. Let's
Oh,
go.
the order
Very
doesn't
true.
matter.
Let's go.
Don't fret that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. No, guys, thank you so much for joining, hopping on. I had a great. Really appreciate you guys hopping up or stopping by, making this tier list with us. It's not perfect. No tier list is. It's a hot takes tier list after all, and we also got the community tier list. So yeah. I guess that's it. How do I end this stream?